Shalom, Brukaba. Welcome. So, we're going to be going through a lot of the really dumb stuff in the Quran, just like really basic things the Quran gets wrong about reality and about God and the Bible and, all the fun stuff, the prophets. Um, got my Moog Moog. Very exciting. Here today with Chase, not Andrew. Andrew couldn't make it. He had to work.
He will
And
probably be here later.
then God also couldn't make it because he's been a slave all day working on the videos. So nice. My man is typing in Syriac. So I can't read Syriac very well. What did you say? What's the Aramaic? What's the sauce? Yeah. So Syriac is Aramaic and Aramaic is Syriac, but they're slightly different. The vowels are slightly different between the two. They're closer together than like Portuguese is to Spanish, but they're pretty much the same language. I just don't read the Syriac script. I read the Aramaic script. Anyway, so pretty excited for that. I didn't put my ring back on. Put my wedding ring back on. How you doing?
Me?
Yeah.
Not half bad. Not half bad. Doing all right.
Yeah.
You?
I'm good. Reading too much of the Quran and the Talmud.
As one does.
Yeah. I want to learn Talmudic in Arabic.
Yes, Talmudic. How could I forget? Aramaic. Talmudic Aramaic? Is that what he's saying?
Talmudic Aramaic is probably what he's saying. It's just a funny phrase. He's a good man.
The bro is
a
good.
Man is good.
The bro is good. Yeah.
Interesting.
Gray.
Aramaic. Okay. So, when I think of how many skies there are, what number do you give?
Well, personally, Chris, when I think of the sky, I think of, like one in particular. That one comes to mind. I don't really think of any other skies unless you're talking about like a person named Sky or something like that.
Okay, how many heavens do you think of?
3.
Okay, you want to elaborate on those?
The 3 heavens?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the atmosphere would be the first heaven. Outer space being the second heaven, and then God's dwelling place and being the third heaven.
Right. That's how Paul talks about it. That's how the Bible talks about it. Let's look at the Quran. So in the Quran, in Surah 65, Ayah 12, it says, "And it is Allah who created 7 heavens and of the earth like them." So not just the heavens that are 7 in number, the earth is also 7 in number. So how many earths do we have?
Right. I think that we are lacking probably 6 of those right now.
The earths? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, why in the world is this wrong in the Quran? If God is the author of it, why is it wrong? If you had to give a guess.
Because the Talmud says this too?
Yeah. Quite explicitly. It's I believe in 14a.
Awesome.
Yeah. So the Quran's copying the rabbis, gets things wrong because of that, because the rabbis just make up stuff. And this is just pretty common in Near Eastern mythology. But this is a problem because of a variety of different phrases within the Quran. So you get the 7 earths, you get the 7 heavens, you get the earth is flat, and you get that the earths are flat. And all the earths are resting on a giant whale. So the earths aren't like suspended in space, resting on a whale. And that's why Allah is called the Lord of the worlds. plural because there's multiple worlds, there's multiple Earths that are stacked. And then you have the heavens, but the heavens are in the wrong order. So if we look at like Islamic heavens, spelled it wrong, it's fine. We have here, this is pretty much the setup, the layout. But we have the firmament being in the background. We have Saturn and Neptune and Mars, where Mars is behind the sun and Jupiter is behind Mars. So you have like, and Venus and Mercury. So you have all of these heavens and them being in the wrong order where the sun is in front of or behind of certain planets. Like the moon and Mercury is in front of the sun, but then Mars and Saturn and Jupiter are behind the sun, and then you don't see the other ones. So you have this. It's interesting. Why in the world is Islamic cosmology wrong? There's your 7 Earths stacked down below.
So you know what, this has got to be my favorite. This has got to be one of my favorite pictures I've ever seen. First of all, because for whatever reason, Allah got the shape of the other planets right, but for the life of him, he couldn't remember how to make Earth correctly, so he just had to flatten it out. And then second of all, why are the stars surrounding the Earth like that? They're
because the
hanging
stars
from the
are in
sky dome.
the lowest heaven. Yeah,
It's funny because it's like one of those baby cradle things where they got the toys hanging.
Yeah. They also have the invisible pillars that are holding up the.
Oh, right, the sky dome. I forgot.
Yeah, the sky dome, because the sky dome is hard. If you were to touch it, you would like bump into it.
It's a good thing that the astronauts figured that out, or else we would have never known.
Yeah. So as Kane is pointing out now, the stars are actually missiles to shoot down jinn and shaitan.
Mm-hmm.
Jinn and demons. So the stars are in the sky in the dome as a missile defense system to shoot down demons that are trying to make their way up to the throne room of God to be able to listen past the curtain of Allah. All of that's also rabbinic too. So we have Satan's trying to reach into the upper heaven to listen behind the curtain because there's the plans that are happening within the divine council. All that type of stuff is both rabbinic and Islamic. Now, the stars themselves being missiles to shoot down the demons going up there is not exactly one-to-one. That's more of a Arabian development on that tradition. But that tradition itself predates Islam, including the exact layers, although the Jewish version of it is way smarter than the Islamic version of it. So the Islamic version of it is the sun and the moon are on fixed courses, and they rotate together at a fixed distance, and they can't overcome each other. So the moon never passes in front of the sun, and the sun never passes in front of the moon, which is obviously what eclipses are, but they must have not known that. Or, I mean, I'm pretty sure people have talked about that before the time of Muhammad, but for whatever reason, the Quran gets it wrong.
So, right. I'm having trouble understanding here. So did Muhammad
shower thoughts?
Did Muhammad explicitly lay this version of the 7 heavens out, or is this just a way that Muslims rationalize what the Quran is saying?
Let's go to Surah 36. Yasin. Yasin. And the sun runs onto a resting place from him. That is the measuring of the mighty one, the wise. And the moon, we have appointed mansions until she returns like an old shriveled palm leaf. It is not for the sun to overtake the moon, nor does the night surpass the day. They each float in an orbit. So they can't overtake each other, which again is not actually how they work.
Right.
And we do have some of these. I think some of it is also from like the tafsir for the exact way it's laid out. But you do have that these stars are in front of the sun and moon in the Quran somewhere. I'm trying to remember where. I didn't have.
But like, does it mention like Mars and Mercury and Saturn and all that?
I don't think so. not by
Okay, I was
that
just
specific name, because that name's also not an Arabic name.
well, it's not an Arabic name for sure,
Right.
no, but I didn't know if like the translation would be in there.
They each float in an orbit. That orbit is predetermined and fixed. So the idea of a lunar eclipse or solar eclipse that would not be caused by them passing by each other, but be caused by God, like turning it off or turning it on.
I feel like if I read the verse and the sun and the moon, they float each in an orbit, I would think to myself, the sun doesn't float in an orbit, and then I would leave Islam.
Yeah, so this is actually geocentrism. The Earth is the center of the universe.
Right. Oddly
Right.
enough, I remember when I was a freshman in high school that they made us do a presentation on the centrism of the universe and if it was, helio or geocentric. And
Mhm.
as a freshman in high school, it was way easier for me to just say the earth is the middle and then like because I didn't have to explain anything else, I could just be like, "Yep, it's earth. That's why everything floats around." And so I did. Every other one of my classmates did heliocentrism because it's right. But
Mhm.
I wanted to do less work, and it worked, and I got a great grade on it too, so I didn't care.
Yeah. So Elon asked, what about the seven heavens of Enoch? That's likely where the rabbis are getting it from later on, because Enoch predates the Talmud. So we see some of the Enochian references in the Quran in general. So you get both first Enoch and second Enoch's. Some of their writing is actually in the Quran. So we get that with like the four rivers, for example. Even though that could also be from the Apocalypse of Paul, you can get from the Syriac. From the Aramaic and the Hebrew, you do get this type of stuff all the time, and the rabbis were just copying it. So again, the Quran is just blanket copying most of this stuff. It's pretty funny. This is part of your answer earlier. So this is 67.5. Indeed, we have decorated the world's heaven with lamps, and we have made them missiles for the Satans, and that we have prepared the torment of flame. So the heavens, the world's heaven, so the lowest heaven. So that's why the stars are here.
Mhm, mhm.
So this heaven, the lowest heaven, is where the stars reside, according to the Quran. Yeah, you do get this general picture, like, this is just matching what Islam believes about the universe, both the Earth being flat. Now I would actually make one alterations to this because it's not clear in the Quran that the Earth is a circle. So this might be a square, because it says also that the mountains are pegs that hold down the tent, and it calls the Earth literally a tent. And the earth bed the floor of the tent, which is why we can get that the Quran is saying that the earth is flat, but the mountains hold down the earth so the earth doesn't fly away.
Hmm, that's what I was thinking too.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
I think Yahweh is actually true. Yeah.
it could just be a
Uh,
circular tent with that.
it could be, but I don't think you actually get that distinction there.
No, I don't yeah. What so, I'm just curious, right? Like, do you think Muhammad just saw the mountains and he was like, "That's really cool." And then he just, like, didn't listen to people when they're like, "Hey, dude, I've been to the other side of that." He was just like, "That's where it ends. That's where it all ends."
Yeah, I have no idea. Well, he traveled a decent bit of the land.
Oh.
He should have seen a bunch of different mountain ranges and the seas and all that stuff and the deserts. He should know that the Earth is relatively not uniform in distribution of geography and biomes, but we still have this. So, yeah, Muslims have to fix everything that their ancient scholars claim, including the Quran. That's why a lot of their arguments are way whack.
So, wait,
Indeed.
does does Islam, like Orthodoxy, teach that the earths are stacked on top of one another?
I have not done the research into knowing what these scholars say in response to this. I just know that this is what the actual claim is of the Quran and of the early commentators.
So
I don't know what moderns say. I did get
right.
some Muslims that were affirming that the earth was flat in my first stream I did on this, which was pretty funny.
Yeah. M Hilarious, really. Um, What? So, but then, all right. So we have this whole thing about the stars and stuff, being on the first heaven. But then, like, how does the sun set into a muddy pool?
The sun goes into the earth. So again, this is not a perfect description of
Oh, okay.
the Islamic earth
Right, right, right,
because you actually do have the sun and the moon setting into the planet.
right.
Um,
That's what I
so you,
thought.
yeah, you have like this. The dome is kind of more like it's actually a little bit better of the way it's actually described because we have the oceans above the oceans above the skies with the throne and all that stuff. And then you have the sun going into the pool and coming back out of the pool, and then it like travels through the earth. Uh, it is very, very strange. And then eventually Allah will stop it as it's going halfway through, then make it go back the other way during the end times. Because during the end times, one of the signs is that the sun is going to rise from the west and set in the east. So it's going to reverse course, which in reality would make the planet stop spinning and spin backwards,
Mm,
which would kill all life on the planet.
mm-hmm.
If you were to stop the planet spinning, which unless it's God, I mean, if it's God directly doing it, he I'm sure could figure out the physics. He appears to have for Joshua's long day anyway. So, but we get this in the rabbinic text as well that the earth will rise from the west on Judgment Day, like on the last days, the sun is going to rise out of the west and set on the east. So the Quran just again, or the Islam again, is copying the rabbinic tradition of that. And then there's also the barrier of the salt water and the fresh water. That again is copied from both the rabbis and the Babylonians. Um, and it just isn't reality. So pretty much all of the cosmos, how they look at planets in general, especially the Earth, like as Sebastian was saying earlier, like this is the dumbest version of flat Earth that exists. Uh, the Earth was shaking at creation, so I'll put the mountains on to stabilize the Earth. Yeah, that's what I was about to get into. The mountains not only are pegs to hold the Earth down, it also is to stabilize it,
Right, right,
to
right.
keep it from shaking, because obviously mountains stop earthquakes and not cause them, or are the byproduct of earthquakes.
No, where would you get that from?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
not.
where is the 65 all coming? There isn't one to my knowledge.
I think
So,
he's making fun of Christians who say that that's the firmament.
oh yeah. Oh, I figured that was the flat Earth do believe in the 60-foot ice wall.
Yes.
So like normal flat earthers, they believe because they are intelligent enough to know that there's an Arctic pole and an Antarctic.
Yeah.
So because there's bears and no bears and frozen, you have to have the Antarctic to be this giant ice wall. Um, the Quran doesn't have that because he didn't even know about the ice to begin with.
Right. Well, I
So
mean, how could you when you aren't receiving revelation from God?
Jews, they
It's
made
true.
it a spear. Yeah, the ice wall's around us, but the ice wall's super Earth. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Ah. If you do the math, the years it takes to travel each heaven, Muhammad would still be gone in the night journey. Yeah,
Oh,
that's for nerds, though.
he's still gone.
Okay. Ha, you believe in earthquakes? Come on now, wake up,
Yeah,
sheeple.
yeah, true.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, if I had $1 for every time I heard, "Why do you believe everything you're told?" I would be a rich man. My workplace is a den of conspiracy theories.
oh yeah. So here's another conspiracy theory you could throw in there. And we had sought the heaven, but found it filled with strong guards and meteors. And we used to sit on places to listen, but he who listened now finds a flame and wait for him. Uh, so the guards here are literally the stars and the meteors. So the shooting stars are the things that are chasing the shaitans and the jinn out of heaven. Because this is the jinn speaking for this one. So they tried to listen into the divine council and they were chased by stars. And in 37:6, we get this exact thing again. Indeed, we have adorned the lowest heaven with an ornament, the planets, and with the security from every defiant Satan. So
So it's
the lowest heaven is the stars.
oh, ornament means stars. Okay.
Yeah. because they're
So what
shiny.
about what about the planets? Are they also in the lowest heaven?
There's conflicting sources with that. Um, hard to tell because obviously, the Quran's super clear.
Yeah.
We have adorned. I'm not sure if this again. You'd have to like consult the Arabic there, and
Tafsir.
also you'd have to look at the commentators and the other
Yeah.
passages that have this listing of the heavens.
Right.
But even if the planets are in the lower heaven, this is still obviously wrong. So why is
Yeah.
the Quran saying that the stars are in front of the sun?
Because he is in fact really dumb. That's what I echo Sebastian's question. What are the other 6 Earths exactly for? Just putting it out there.
I'm trying to remember. I don't know if he has a reason. So,
Because rabbis.
what are the 7 Earths for in Islam? Let's see what Google GPT says.
No. Allah did not create 7 distinct layers of the earth. That's not true.
To demonstrate his absolute power, knowledge, and vast creation.
Google AI.
Google AI.
Sometimes I
7
love Google AI.
geological layers.
The problem with Google AI sometimes is that sometimes it doesn't know that either something is being satirical or something
Right.
is trying to
Right.
like refute another position. And so
Mhm.
it's like, oh yeah, this means this, and you click on the link and it's like, this is retarded or something like that. And you're like, oh, so that's not actually what that means.
This one says Ibn Abbas. Let's look up Ibn Abbas for this one. Anyway,
Chris, have you seen Parks and Rec?
yeah.
So, in one of the episodes, Leslie, instead of saying a pissing contest, she says a peeing race. And whenever Sebastian said, uh, you know, so for a, for that reason, I immediately
Mhm.
thought of a peeing race. So thank you for that. You're welcome. The more you know.
So when you were talking about Parks and Rec, Sebastian is the mini horse in that show.
Yes,
So you mentioned Sebastian. I was like, I don't remember Sebastian talking. That was weird.
Little Sebastian.
Little Sebastian. Anyway,
Dude, his first debut in the Harvest Fest was like absolute cinema.
cinema.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
Yes. So they're shooting stars or missiles to shoot down Jinn. The roof is a canopy. That's a fun one. So it's the canopy with the birds flying in it, which is also rabbinic, which is pretty funny. And we have made the sky a preserved roof. Yet they turn away from its signs. The signs being like hail and rain and whatnot. Oh, that's a fun one as well. So, in the sky, how much hail is in the sky according to the Quran?
Like at all times?
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea. I'm assuming it's quite a bit, maybe.
Yeah. Haven't you seen how Allah makes the clouds move gently, then gathers them, then makes them layers, and you see the rain come forth from between them? He sends down from the heaven mountains, in which are hail, and strikes it with those whom he wills, and turns away from those whom he wills. The flashing of his lightning also snatches away the sight. There is a mountain of ice in the sky that Allah picks off a little bit and throws it at people.
Mm. Right. Now that you mention it, that makes sense.
So basically, natural functions are of the earth are signs from God. Yes, not just natural functions, specific animals too. Like my favorite proof of Islam is a camel,
Mm.
not the big magical camel of like Selah. Camels. the fact camels exist is a proof of Allah. Which is like natural theology. Like it's a kind of based way to point to God's existence of, oh, like the irreducible complexity or like biological complexity and its meticulous function, all that stuff. But he didn't just make it like general to life is a sign that Allah exists, because he's also not talking to atheist, he's talking to polytheist pagans. So the proof that Allah is one, that Tawheed exists, there are no other gods, is camels. So it's not even like natural theology to prove God exists. It's just camels are the proof that Allah is one. I mean, I do agree, but specifically a camel. But it gets so much dumber.
It's good.
Uh,
This is good.
yeah. Star missiles and ice. Why is Allah always throwing stuff? Oh, he's gonna throw some thunder here in a second. Let's go to 1313.
Kaboom.
Well, this one's my favorite. So the thunder sings his praise, and the angels for awe of him. He launches the thunderbolts and strikes them with whom those he will, while they dispute about law. He is the mighty in wrath. What pagan god does that sound like?
You know, I'm having a hard time putting my finger on it. He's not like one of the most popular pagan deities to have ever been conceived of. Man, what is his name? I don't know. I don't know.
According to some people, it's Jesus.
True.
Yeah, because they say that Jesus
According
is just
to
Jesus. Or
according to what's that guy's name? Bill Maher. And
oh yeah,
I love him.
Jesus means Zeus. Yeah,
Well,
like hail Zeus.
So there was there was the Zeitgeist movie, right?
Mm.
And then that got completely debunked. But what was the film that Bill Maher was in where he went and like just crapped on theism for no reason?
I mean, he does that on his show all the time.
I know he does.
I can't think of a movie specifically.
He's really just not a nice
yeah. I got to take my shahada. Hail from a mountain of ice, camel pee. Bro, I can't resist any longer. It's too tempting. I have to get it. I have to taste the camel pee.
Oh yeah, religious, I think.
Religious. It's not Baal. I would say it's Zeus. Good old fashioned Zeusy boy.
A comedic documentary exploring religion. It's not a document. Like, I don't understand. I don't think they know what a documentary is. That film did not qualify. Because it was just, I just distinctly remember this one scene where he goes up to this guy playing like Jesus essentially in front of this tomb in Israel. And he's like, well, didn't you know that Jesus is actually a combination of, and he starts listing off all these gods, and the guy playing Jesus clearly didn't expect to meet Bill Maher that day, and so he's just standing there like, what is this? Is this Bill Maher? And so he's just standing there, and he's like, I've never, like, what? And it was really funny because it's like he just decided to go up to some random dude playing Jesus instead of like actually, talking to someone who knows what they're talking about. But I digress.
The craziest thing about the Passion of Christ, or what's the actual sentence of that? What's the title of that movie?
The Passion of the Christ.
The Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
The Passion movie with Mel Gibson as the director.
Yeah.
Knivel, or however you pronounce his last name, he was struck by lightning like 2 or 3 times while making that movie.
Right.
You would think maybe I'm doing something wrong, or maybe I'm doing something really right because I got struck by lightning but didn't die. But like you're playing God for a movie, and you get struck by lightning multiple times. At what point do you quit?
I haven't actually seen the movie, so I don't know. I don't know how good or bad of a job that they did at representing.
It's fairly decent. It's still pretty PG compared to the actual what would have happened, but
well, of course. Well, I didn't mean like the like the blood and gore and stuff, just like the
Oh yeah.
actual character of God and stuff. But
Mhm.
like, I just don't know. I've never seen it.
Uh, yeah, that's fine. So we have it is Allah who raised up the heavens without visible supports, then mounted the throne and compelled the sun and moon to be of service, each running to an appointed term. He orders the course, he details the signs, so that perhaps you may be certain of the meeting with your Lord. He holds the heavens up without visible supports. Gets back into the invisible pillars. Um, Now it's noted that this is actually what keeps the sky from falling in the Quran. So the invisible pillars, if you were to remove them, the sky would literally fall like all Chicken Little. So like the sky is falling on. Haven't you seen how Allah has made all that is in the earth submissive to you, and the ships run upon the sea by His command? He holds back the heaven from falling on the earth unless it is by His permission. Indeed, Allah is for mankind full of kindness. So the ships also floating is one of the signs of Allah. Ships can't float without God's permission. So it has nothing to do with buoyancy, or things
Well, I
just
mean,
floating, but
I mean, just in general, like you could say that about anything. The fact that anything does anything anyways is like, okay, but it's true that God has to, it's because of his power that these things are
right.
happening. Um,
But unless he's like changing physics, it's gonna happen every
but
time, no matter what.
right, that's what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I mean, well, I guess it's not really to show because the Bible at times will point out like basic things about nature. Like, well, I guess that's not about him. Um, Never mind. I was thinking of something else. I was thinking of as the deer panteth for the water, but that was talking about David's own soul. Um,
Right.
Hang on. There was never mind. I don't remember. But you know, so we can give it. I give it to him. I give it to him. It runs on the sea by his command. What do you got? I mean, hey, I can sure. All right.
Yeah.
The whole sun being in
The,
orbit. I don't know about
this
that
would
one.
also suggest that if it wasn't by his command, that he would arbitrarily change physics to make things not float for people that he didn't want to. So that would
True.
also dictate that it is by conscious choice that everything that floats, it floats only by Allah's permission. Like he manually changes the density of all things to make it float, which also makes science kind of impossible unless
You
he
see,
allows all science to be done exactly the way it's done. And like engineering is all by his command, even including the engineering that was done with ships to destroy the Ottomans. That too would have been by Allah's command because there were ships used to destroy the Ottomans.
you're getting too technical, right? Why don't we get away from these words like density and science and get
And
to
thinking,
better words that they like give and me and your and money. That's a good one. They like those ones. They also like one and God. Those are two. But yeah.
hmm, I don't mind pointing to
Yeah,
physics.
right. That's kind of my thing because I'm gonna
Right.
be really honest with you. I love physics. Physics is
Mhm.
was one of my favorite things to study in high school, and I wanted to study it in college, but that didn't happen for a reason. But for whatever reason, Allah he just wants you to know that hey man, your ship wouldn't float if it wasn't for me. So get down off your high horse. He didn't get it.
No, so Jackery gifted 5 subs again. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it. You're an insane. Like you've single-handedly filled out just about every single subscription. Uh, but looking at it,
Except for
so
Sebastian's.
Steven's wife got it, which is pretty based, but Sebastian didn't get it, and Steven's wife only comments whenever Steven's on stream. So I love the fact that we just get no. Oh, it's so funny. Oh man. Yes. The heavens
Yeah,
declare his
right. That's
glory, the
that's
birds
that's
are
what I
fed
was
by the
that's what I
sun.
was kind of saying. Like there are certain things about and nature just in general, right? It wouldn't exist without the Lord and like so I understand that. But I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying.
I'll be the last one to get it. It's so funny, man. There's not that many people that comment regularly. You by far have the most comments on the channel in recent history, Sebastian. You still just don't get it. So funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I immediately opened up the stream to see who got it. Because it doesn't tell me on StreamYard, but it does
Wait.
tell me on the YouTube chat.
So the verse says, "And he holds back the heaven from falling on the earth unless it is by his permission."
Right.
Why was the last clause necessary?
If he decides to make the sky fall. So Ibn Kathir, as Robert Spencer
Well,
notes,
I understand.
Ibn Kathir explains if he willed, he could give the sky permission to fall on the earth, and whoever is in it would be killed. But by his kindness, mercy, and power, he withholds the heaven from falling on the earth, except by his leave.
Right. I understand why it's there, but it's like if he holds it, he can kind of like he can not hold it too, unless it's by his permission. But only on this.
Your account is a business account. That's weird.
Sebastian, you might want to check on that.
That's pretty funny. No, I appreciate it, Gan. It's awesome. I too am the same way. I have to decide not to talk too much about various things. But
Dude, our
yeah.
freaking 5-hour live stream is evidence that both of us don't know when to shut up sometimes.
Oh, that's great. So
It
we
was
actually have
fun.
more. We have more surahs on the sky falling too.
Mm.
Hold on. So haven't they observed what is in front of them and what is behind them of the sky and the earth? If we will, we can make the earth swallow them, or cause obliteration from the sky to fall on them. Indeed, and this is surely a sign for every slave who turns repentant. So again, and then also the hills and birds sing the praises of God, which is fine. Like this is from the psalm. Like he's almost quoting the Zabir here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to take this overly literally. This is obviously meant to be a metaphor, but the fact that we get at least 7 places in the Quran where the sky falls, or the sky could fall, is pretty funny. So we literally have like a Chicken Little situation,
Yeah,
and that's
actually,
also rabbinic.
so actually that movie was a documentary. And they left out his first name. His first name is Abdullah Chicken Little. So that's actually what happened back in the day.
Yeah.
But if I didn't notice, but at the end of that verse you had up previously, it did say that we made iron pliable for David, and
Oh yeah, it's the chainmail. We'll come back to that.
the
Yeah.
Jews.
Yeah. The Yehudam. Yes, let's go back. I guess we can go ahead and do that now. That's 10. So surely we gave David favor from us, O ye Hildebrand sings, saying, make long coats of mail and measure the links. And do what is right. Indeed, I'm the seer of what you do. And then Solomon is
The
given like
wind,
a bunch of
yeah.
other things. The jinn worked for him by his permission.
Mhm.
All this stuff. And those among them who deviated from our command, we caused them to taste the punishment of flaming fire. So he burned the jinn alive, who didn't work according to what Solomon wanted. Uh, Studies in religion also gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Let's see if it went to Sebastian. Don't I imagine it didn't. No, Yurat got it. Yurat's a pretty chill Jew. I like the guy.
Mm.
I don't think he's commenting in the stream at all. So uh, thank you, Studies in Religion. Uh, Thanks for the membership builds. So we have all of these stupid things where obviously, chainmail didn't exist at this point in time.
Right.
Obviously, this like Solomon isn't in control of the wind and the universe, because that's what the Ring of Solomon actually did, is he gave him control of the universe. Interestingly, what did the Ring of Solomon have on it to give him control of the universe?
It was his seal, right?
No, it was
Oh.
something about God.
Oh, right. The name of God? Or the name of
The
his
name of
angel?
God.
Yeah, the
The
name of
name of
God.
God.
That's right.
It had
Right.
Yahweh written on it, the
Right.
Tetragrammaton. So it had the Yod He Vav He. If you wrote that on something, it became this magical object and it gained the powers of God because they did word magic. So we have Solomon's ring that just has Yahweh written on it, and that's what gave him power. Yet
Mhm.
in the Quran, God forgot his name. So even though it tells a story of something that has his name on it, he never actually gives his name as Yahweh.
Hmm.
We also have Yahya and Elijah.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
like
yeah, all
uh,
the theophoric. That's one
we
of
have three
my
or four
other
names with
yeah.
Yahweh in it or Yah in it, and he still doesn't know his name is Yahweh.
Yeah, that's one of my that's one of my favorite arguments against Islam. God forgot his name.
I'll write Yahweh on my computer so I can run all my games Ultra.
Valid.
Oh, beast. Yeah, that's funny. Um, yeah. So obviously, this is like a couple hundred years before, or a couple thousand years before. So when did chain mail? Okay, and I think it's like 300 BC. It's 400, 500. So about 1,000 years off.
The
Not too
Celts.
bad. Like 800 years off. So 800 years time difference, and you could just say, "Oh, well, Allah just he just told him how to do it." That's obviously the solution here. Is he told him what to do. I mean, sure, but why in the world do we not have any mention of this? Like, this is a very powerful piece of military armor. Um, Armor is heavy. If it's made out of leather, it doesn't do very good. Chainmail is actually quite nice. It
Oh,
protects
yeah.
from lots of different things. Protects from arrows, protects from sword stabs, protects from
To
javelins, spears.
to a certain
Uh,
extent, I feel like
to
if
a certain
you
extent,
get hit
yeah.
with an arrow, it's like
Straight on,
getting
it's still gonna
shot.
do something.
It's like
Yeah,
getting shot even with armor, like a
yeah.
body plate. It still
But
sucks.
you'd have leather underneath it, so it would still protect you enough to where you wouldn't die. Now you might get
Yeah, no,
knocked
you
to your
wouldn't die.
back. It's gonna hurt. You might break a
Yeah,
rib, but
exactly.
you're not gonna die.
No.
So if the Jews had this near magical armor for the time period, why wouldn't they all be using it? Why wouldn't this just become the standard for all time? Yeah, we
Yeah,
don't see that in history. So,
no.
historical fact, the Quran just gets wrong. Pretty awesome. Uh, I don't know how gift memberships work, because someone must undo the manifest justice on Sebastian's law. Oh, I appreciate it. Oh, it's so funny. Allah's punish me for insulting Muhammad. Yes.
True. Jibril got you
Uh,
there.
yeah. My favorite is Allah himself will put a chain in your butt, each link being the amount of the iron in the earth, and will pull it through your mouth.
Yeah, I don't think that they quite understand what that means.
Uh, or they do, and they're excited. Um,
Warner.
50, yeah, the Warner is already doing it. So 44.
It's he got it confused. See, Allah got it confused. No. He's instead of running a train, it's running a chain. Never mind.
It's funny. Okay. So 44. And if they were to see a fragment of the heaven falling, they would say, a heap of clouds. Then let them be until they meet their day in which they will be struck down. So, like, oh, no, it's just a heap of clouds. There's nothing to be worried about it. And then, boom, death, destruction.
Mhm.
Allah throwing thunderbolts, and he's Zeus. Yeah. So, you have all that nonsense. The sky obviously cannot fall down. It's obviously not being held up by invisible pillars. It's not even a physical object. It's just atmosphere. You can go through it. We can leave it pretty easily, as been demonstrated by the moon landing, unless you are, hey, you think it's all a hoax. But the second heaven is the moon. So, you just have to get through the stars and not burn to death, and then you can get to the moon, which we obviously did.
Right.
Yeah. The ultimate irony of Zechariah being it means Yahweh remembers me, or Yahweh is like in remembrance, and
He didn't
Allah
remember.
uses that name but didn't remember
Didn't
Yahweh.
remember. He didn't remember.
Brother, yeah, Quran very dumb. Another one that is my favorite that may have been of Musa, not actually about Muhammad, but the hour drew near and the moon was split in two. And if they see a sign, they turn away and say, "Prolonged illusion." They denied it and followed their own lusts. Yeah, everything will come to a decision. So,
That's what I often do.
the moon split according to early Muslims. You do have, I think it was Sale, in his commentary on his Quran translation. He talks about how this might have been an allusion to Moses, one of the signs of Moses, not actually a sign of Muhammad. But I haven't gone that deep into the things. But obviously, the moon was never split. If it was split, it was literally an illusion and not physical because we have no physical evidence of it, which also gets back into Surah 263, which is one of my favorites because this is straight copied, like word for word from the Talmud. And when we made a covenant with you and caused the mountain to tower above you, hold fast to what we have given you. Remember what is in it so that you may fear Allah. So what's happening here? NASA is greater than Allah confirmed.
Yeah. So this, precisely.
Is it night? Yep. You split the moon.
Mm-hmm. Essentially, what this means is that whenever the Lord gave the law to the children of Israel, He literally took Sinai or one of the surrounding mountains and like lifted it over their heads and was like, "This mountain is the witness, and if you, like, I'll drop it on you if you don't agree."
Yep. Yeah, and it is Sinai. So he picked up Sinai and then held it over them. This is straight up from the Talmud, like nearly word for word. I think it's in Sanhedrin or Sota, but straight copied from the Talmud. And obviously, if you look at the different mountains that could be Mount Sinai, there's like three options. Harkalkom is likely to be Mount Sinai for a variety of reasons that I've gone over in like the last like 4 streams I've done on the Bible study side of it. So I'm not going to go over that again now. If you want to watch, you can go watch the last stream I did on Tuesday. So that mountain is likely to be Mount Sinai. If you look at that or any of the other mountains that could be Mount Sinai, none of them show signs of being messed up. None of them show signs of being picked up. No show signs of like bending or tearing of the rock strata or any like it's been there the whole time. You don't see it going like boop, and then going back and boop. It never happened. Yet both the Talmud and the Quran both say it actually happened physically. So, yeah, pretty good nonsense. Chris, that's anti-Semitic, Islamophobic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I didn't leave any craters, unlike the Menevils.
What's funny is that the miracles that happened in the scriptures, the ones that can be obviously still, like verified, we have verification of them. So like the walls of Jericho, the splitting, well, some would say the splitting of the Red Sea, that there's evidence for that. There's, some other ones, but here we have a unique Quran Talmud claim that is not verifiable. Well, it is verifiable, and it's verifiably false. Correct.
It has been proven to be false. No matter what mountain you pick, there's not a single mountain that looks like it was literally picked up and placed down. Now, interestingly, the Quran's version of it makes more sense than the rabbinic version. The rabbinic version is like obviously this drastic miracle. The Quran version is the mountains are pegs. They're like weights that hold the earth flat. So it's literally a cloth that are stretched like taut by the mountains. So obviously the mountain get picked up and put down because it wasn't there originally. It was placed by Allah. So if Allah can place it, then obviously he can pick it up and replace it. That's not
Mhm.
that big of a stretch. Now, obviously, in reality, that's not the case. That's not how they work. They're not placed on top of it, but it's just the earth being smashed and then uplifted. Um, Talmud is fanfic. It's not nearly as bad as the Midrash, but a lot of it is, yeah. And then, and then the Quran is just madman's ramblings. Yeah. Yeah. So why are there new mountains? It's a great question. I don't know if the Quran can actually answer that, but the Quran also didn't know that mountains could form. So
Or
who knows?
plate tectonics,
Right. Just,
or the
yeah.
water cycle, or any of
Yeah.
that.
Hail forms. It's not from a mountain.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. That the earth is round, that there's actually different like climates on different parts of the earth. I didn't know about that.
Nope.
Because otherwise Ramadan doesn't make any sense. Why is it that Ramadan would kill all the population on the North Pole and the South Pole? Or anywhere close to them.
That's because they're come on, Chris. You're being so Islamophobic.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like your holiest month would kill people, but you know.
It would also kill people like there certain spots of the earth. I mean, obviously they're closer to like the poles, but like not even the poles, like certain
Right.
spots in like Norway
Alaska.
or
Yeah.
Alaska that you just don't
Or
see the
Russia.
sun for a really long time.
Or you don't see the night for a really long time. That's the
Or
bigger
yeah,
deal.
or you don't see night.
That's the big deal because you
Or
eat or drink
the night.
during the
Sorry, yeah,
day.
because you
Yeah.
fast during the day.
Yeah. So in all the north, and I think some parts of the south, but all the north, you just don't see a sunset for a while. Even if it was just like 2 days, even if it's not the full like 3 months, which is what it actually is in some places, even if it was just a couple days, that would still kill everyone.
Right, and not only that, but even if it did get dark, you have to see the difference between a white and black thread. If you can see the
Right.
difference, you're not allowed to eat.
Right. Yep. That's very, very dumb.
Islamophobic.
Yeah. He's leading you astray by giving you above 50 IQ. It is the curse of Allah.
Mm.
If Islamophobia is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Mm.
Yeah. I looked into hell and behold, most of its inhabitants had above 50 IQ.
That's yeah, or like Muhammad when
Oh,
he
it's
was
fine.
like, "Surely women make up the majority of the hellfire."
Yeah, the descendants of hellfire. Yeah. Yeah, and it's not just a majority, it's vast majority from the Arabic.
Right,
So the
right,
vast majority of people in hell are women, which itself is a problem. Because either the test is geared towards men, or Allah deliberately created women unfairly. So either way, Allah is unfair. Either way, Allah is unjust. Either way, Allah is evil for what He did to women. Unless you
right.
just view women as not actual humans. But
No, no, mm-mm. No, couldn't be, couldn't be.
yeah, the third of the night, guys. Allah comes down every third, bro. Yeah, was one of the other problems. Allah's always in the lower heaven to listen to our prayers. Um, so if
Sure.
He is always in the lower heaven to listen to our prayers, that means Allah is always on heaven. He's never on His throne. Uh, Allah is.
All right, Chris. I have a question.
Mm,
If Islam is true, would you rather go to heaven or to hell?
heaven. I mean, have you heard how it describes hell?
I'm aware of how it describes hell.
Right. I mean, that's just by it that it's easy. I mean, heaven
Yeah.
in Islam is really not that much better. It's just carnal pleasure forever, but that would get bored very quickly, but still better than being tortured actively.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I'd agree with you. But there's a part of me that's like, if the God of Islam is the real God, then there's a large part of me that does not want to be anywhere near him, you know?
To spite him.
Yeah.
Yeah. which is why hell actually exists, because people hate God.
Because people hate, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
But like
yeah,
we have a perfectly good God, so it's not like this freaking whack job, right?
right.
It's is the perfectly good God of the universe and not this crazy sock puppet.
That is a trick question for would you rather go to heaven or hell for Islam? Heaven, but I mean it's all just a corn set. Yeah,
Right. I don't
right.
know.
Yeah. Well, at least you get good food. Yeah.
Maybe.
Plus, maybe. All right, let's go through one of my favorite passages in the entire Quran. Surah 18,
Oh, Jul Karnain.
the Durul Qarnayn, the two-horned one.
Yes.
Say, I will recite to you a remembrance of him. Indeed, we made him strong in the land and gave him the means to achieve everything. And he followed a road. Also, ironically, like he died when he was 30 or 33. Like he died really young, probably due to an infection. But Allah is the one who's like, I made him strong in the land. I gave him the means to achieve everything, but he didn't give him the means to achieve old age.
Or like to go up into Northern Europe.
Right. Like there's a lot of things he wasn't able to actually achieve.
I know.
Because he died so young. And now if he had lived longer, who knows what would have happened, man. That dude was insane. He never lost a battle. But and he followed a road until when he reached the setting of the place of a sun. He found it setting in a spring of a muddy pool, or muddy water, and found a people nearby. We said, O Dhul Qarnayn, either punish them or show them kindness. So now Allah is giving judgment to a human, which is interesting. So this is not only flat Earth, but also obviously the sun doesn't go into the Earth. The sun doesn't go into water because that would like extinguish it. But that's the idea. If the sun goes into muddy water, it's extinguished for the night. Then it be reborn on the other side, it relit. So it goes out of fire and it turns back on fire
Right.
as you leave the water. And he said, oh, as for him who does wrong, we will punish him, and then he will be brought back to his Lord, who will punish him with awful punishment. So now Allah is being evil. As for him who believes and does right, good will be his reward, and we will speak a mild command to him. Then he followed a road until we reached the rising place of the sun. He found it rising on a people for whom we had appointed no shelter from it. So it was, and we knew everything about him. So these are people who are just burning to death. And then he found a road. That's literally what this means. Until when he came back between the mountains, he found one on a side and people that could barely understand a word. They said, Old Dhul Qarnayn, indeed, Gog and Magog are spoiling the land, so may we pay you tribute on the condition that you set a barrier between us and them. Do you remember what this barrier is?
Yeah, it's the magical wall that he built up to prevent the zombies from breaking through.
Yes. You said that in which my Lord has established me is better. Just help me with strength. I will set a barrier between you and them. Give me pieces of iron until when they had leveled up between the cliffs. He said, blow until when he had made it into fire. He said, bring me a molten copper to pour on it. So he put so much iron that he filled the gap between two mountains. Then threw a bunch of copper on it and it was molten, and then that sealed it. And they were not able to surmount it, nor could they pierce it. They couldn't pierce it because of the iron, and they couldn't surmount it because of the copper. He said, this is a mercy from my Lord, but when the promise of my Lord comes to pass, he will lay it low, for the promise of my Lord is true. This is actually somewhat of an intelligent statement. Just they couldn't, like, if it was just copper and you could pierce through it because copper is very malleable. If it was just iron, you could climb it because iron has like cracks and you could like dig into it. But if it's both, then it's too slippery and it's too hard. So it's very much like Muhammad and the Night of Al-Zut. And they weren't able to pierce it or penetrate it.
Slippery and hard.
It's the opposite of Muhammad and that night, but yeah. And then on that day, we will let some of them surge against others, and the trumpet will be blown, and then we will gather them together in one gathering. On that day, we will present Gehenna to the unbelievers clear to view. Those whose eyes were fueled for my reminder, who could not bear to hear. Does the unbelievers think that they can choose my slaves of protecting friends beside me? Indeed, we have prepared Gehenna as welcome for the unbelievers. So, Alexander the Great. Go ahead.
Does that refute? Wait. Do the unbelievers think that they can choose my slaves as protecting friends beside? Is he like kind of refuting the idea that his servants are friends in that verse? Or what does he mean? Think that they can choose my slaves as protecting friends besides me. Oh, so like they want
Mm,
Muslims to like
to
try and
protect
get
them
them
from
into
Allah.
heaven. Yeah,
Yeah,
to kind of like make them slide by.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Well,
Hmm.
okay, never mind. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. So we have Alexander the Great building a giant iron wall that is
Hmm.
between two mountains that we should still be able to see to this day. If it actually exists, we should be able to go to this mountain range, find it, and look at it because it's actively holding back a zombie horde on the edge of the planet. So like on this like little corner here, there's a giant like mountain range, or like if you want to say it's over here, there's zombies on the other side of it that are waiting to destroy the earth. So all of the people on the earth are going to be destroyed in this process because there's a giant army of zombies being held back by copper and iron behind mountains that can't climb the mountains and they don't ever die apparently.
Right.
And the sun sets into a muddy pool and rises on the other side. So that just World War Z literally is, yeah. Think about like
You
the
know,
World War Z scene in Jerusalem.
World War Z is unironically like when it came out. Hang on.
It's pretty based.
When did
Like 2012 or so, 2014. I was in high school.
13. World War Z
13.
was unironically one of the scariest movies of my childhood.
Man, you were a child when that came out. That's weird. I was
I
an
was,
adult.
yeah, I was 9.
Man, you're so young.
I just like I didn't even watch the whole movie. I just remember watching like the trailer and maybe seeing like a scene or two from it on television and then having nightmares.
That's such a good movie though. Hey, it's one of the best zombie movies.
Yeah, I just refuse to watch it now though, on
Oh,
principle.
it's
You don't
so
get to scare
good.
me in my childhood and then me watch you.
AP and Hotun are gonna wage war in Islam. Yeah. Dude, the Turks climbing the walls. They're gonna get it. It's a metaphysical matter.
You know,
Anime religion.
mm,
Yeah. Hmm. They use their ears as a tent or something crazy.
it's funny that he would bring that up because we actually did talk about anime religion yesterday.
Not on stream, but yeah.
No, no.
So I think that was everything I had from the geology side of it. Oh no, not quite yet. We have a bunch of flat Earth stuff. Um, so the Quran just obviously talks about the Earth being flat, and the Earth how it is spread. 7119 says something similar. It's like the tent plagues, or like the carpet rolled out. Allah has made the Earth a wide expanse for you. The exact same language is not just flat, but it is describing a tent. It's describing the Bedouin tents specifically, which are very flat tents that lay on flat surface in the dirt and in the sand, and then you lay on the carpet to hold it down. And then you have these pegs that hold down the corners to keep it tight. So whenever you lay on it, you don't sink into the sand or anything. You just lay on a flat surface. So the Quran is describing the earth in that way as a Bedouin tent over and over and over and over again, all throughout the Quran. I did a stream on it not that long ago, like 2, 3 months ago, that went over every single uh, ayah and every single tafsir on it. It's pretty cool. I might make that into like a Google Doc and just share that.
Hmm.
Uh, in the earth, we have spread out and placed firm hills in it and caused everything to grow there in balance. Growing in balance is also false. Um, there's a bunch of things in the Quran about how Allah makes everything in pairs, and male and female, and that the balance of male and female is there on purpose. Now there are species that don't have balanced male and females. There's significantly more males than females, and there are species that are either asexual and reproduce via cloning, or are like multisexual and have more than two genders. Like mushrooms, for example, can have like hundreds of genders. There's also, I
Mm.
believe, some types of like insects and like maybe shrimps. Like there's other creatures that don't have just male female on the planet. So the Quran is wrong in that, but those are pretty obscure that you wouldn't be able to just tell it. Um, how many species have more than two genders? There's a good number of them. 23,000 in the mushroom species.
It's
Yeah.
transgender.
Oh, the shrimp.
I didn't know
Oh,
that they
this
had
one's
more than two genders. Let me look
yeah. You
that up.
also you get so apparently this cell has 7, which is pretty cool. Clownfish can change gender as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that have hermaphroditism, such as clownfish, where if the like the biggest thing in the area is the female, and then all the smaller ones are the males. So whenever in Nemo, whenever Marlin's wife dies, Marlin should have become the mom, and then Nemo would grow up to have intercourse with Marlin.
Mm.
In reality, if that was actually like the fish in reality,
Wouldn't have made for a good movie.
would not have been a good kids movie, no.
No.
But reality is often not kid friendly.
So okay. So for shrimp, they
White-throated
have
sparrow. Cool.
they have male and female, but they start out as one sex, usually male, and change to the other over time. So it's two sexes, but
Right,
like
but you're
they
fluid.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
right. It's not yeah. Um and some even become pro- protandric simultaneous hermaphrodites, developing both male and female reproductive parts at the same time. Most
Yeah.
common in shrimp, protandry. I don't even know what that means. They are born
The
male
history
and later change to female. Yeah.
the history of Alexander by Rufus is corrupted. Uh, it's the only explanation. Why else would it not mention the zombie hordes in the place where the sun sets? Obviously, Rufus just didn't mention it because he was scared of Allah. He was
Right.
a pagan, so obviously, Alexander the Great was not a pagan. He was obviously a Muslim. But Rufus was obviously a pagan because he didn't capture what Allah had, and anything that doesn't line up with the Quran is pagan nonsense, according to Muslims. So, yeah, it's pretty good. Definitely not PG for the realistic Nemo. Yeah, would not have been good. Not have
No.
been good. Yeah. So we have that. We have the Earth being having mountains thrown onto it. So not only is the Earth spread out, we also have the mountains being laced onto the Earth and then growing in balance. So all 3 of these are false. So these are 3 scientific statements that are all false in the Quran in one ayah, which is pretty
Mm,
impressive. Um,
right. Sure. Yeah,
so
exactly like humans. Right.
right.
We also have fluid genders. Yeah. That's true.
I do
Just
medical
wanted to clear
research
up
for a
that.
living. No, we do not. If you give medication to a man that's made for a woman, you could kill them, and vice versa.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
no,
worms are too.
that's just because you're super homophobic, Chris.
Right. Yeah. It's not like if a man pees on a pregnancy stick and it comes back positive, that doesn't mean he has cancer or anything. That just means he's pregnant, obviously. And
It's funny that you should say that.
have you peed on a stick before?
No, I was just messing around. That's insane.
That's like prostate cancer. That's not a good situation to be on. I mean, that's a decent way to test yourself if you don't want to have a thing in your
Like,
butt.
yeah, go
Finger.
right.
Just go pee on a stick.
Go get
Granted,
zooped.
it's not going to be as accurate as like actually touching the prostate, but
Right.
yeah. Mhm. You just zoot yourself real quick.
Islama homophobic.
Chris is for sure Islamophobic.
Homolamophobic.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, so we have another one as well. I don't think I actually read this one. He has created the heavens without supports that you can see and has cast into firm earths, so that it does not quake with you. It has dispersed in all kinds of animals, and we send down water from the sky, and we cause every noble kind to grow in it. So specifically, the mountains are thrown onto the earth to make it not quake. Pretty silly. 55, 19, and 20 is also kind of interesting. So he has loosed the two seas, they meet, there's a barrier between them, they do not encroach. Have you seen the two seas not mixing? I'm sure everyone's seen this picture by now who's talked to Muslims. Yeah. Now this is a legitimate thing. But only on the surface. Plus, obviously now it's like that mixed there when a boat went through it. But the reason why this happens is because of salt. They're like, here's again like a Muslim saying like he has let loose the two seas converging with a barrier between them, but they do not break through. This is the proof. Yeah. So no, they do mix. They just mix under the surface, and they mix semi-slowly, but they are mixing. They do in fact mix. They have slightly different salt contents, but as the water is touching each other for long enough, the salt just goes under it, and then it becomes more salty, and then they mix. Imagine that.
So it's funny because so in Islam, right, water is not made impure by anything, correct?
Right.
Okay. So if these waters were not made impure by anything, why don't they mix? Like, because the water is supposed to be just water. So like, what does it even mean that they don't mix? It's because of the content of the water that they don't mix. It's because the water is salinated, it has salt in it that they don't mix.
I've been reliably told by some professors in my university that what you say is false. Who am I meant to believe? Obviously, the professors.
Me.
First you deny Allah, and now the science team.
Trademarked science.
Where's Esteban? Esteban is with his family. Yeah. No, I get him on Tuesdays. I don't want to overwork the man. I love the brother though. He'll come back on Tuesday. That pig don't fit the verse. It sure doesn't, because this is ocean. It's not the seas. And the seas do in fact mix. But it's not the proof. I was shown that picture by Lily J. That's really funny. But this is the truth. This is the proof. Yeah, you also get something similar in Surah 25. The Furqan. And as he was given independence to the two seas, one palatable, sweet, the other salty, bitter, has set a bar forbidding banning between them. This is also rabbinic. This is in the Talmud.
That's also not true. Neither one of those is sweet.
Right.
What? Wait.
Well, sweet just means drinkable.
But neither of them are drinkable, though, is what I feel what you're saying.
Right.
I feel what you're saying. Because like whenever the Lord's, like in the Old Testament, he threw the tree in there and it became sweet. I don't think he made a Kool-Aid, but like, but like he made it to where it wasn't, unbearably salty.
Right. As one does.
Yes, of course.
I'm gonna pull this up as well. So I can find the two C's mixing them. Did I name it? Oh, there it is. So in a Bereshit Rabbah, it says actually, let me just throw it on the screen so we can read it together as a family.
Let's do it.
So Bereshit Rabbah, chapter 4, verse 5. The firmament is similar to a pool of water. Let me make it way bigger.
Hmm.
It's similar to a pool of water, and above the pool is a dome. Because of the pool, there is a condensation of thick drops, and they descend into the salt water but do not intermingle.
Hmm.
Rabbi Yonah said, "Do not wonder, the Jordan passes through the Sea of Tiberias but does not intermingle with its water. There is a miraculous process involved in this matter. When a person sifts wheat or stubble in a sieve, before they fall 2 or 3 finger breadths, they are already intermingled, but these raindrops travel a distance of several years and do not intermingle with one another." This is again a unit of distance in the rabbinic traditions. Years are a unit of distance. Rabbi Yohanan Ben Rabbi Shimon says he rains them down by measure, as it is stated, for he deducts drops of water, just as it says it will be deducted from your valuation. The thickness of the earth is equivalent to the thickness of the firmament, as it is stated, it is he who sits over the circuit of the earth. In the circuit of the heavens, he makes his way. It's also chuj, which is similar to Hajj, which is where the pilgrimage comes from. I had a Jew arguing in my comment section a long time that the reason why the Hajj is called the Hajj is because they circle the Kaaba, and it comes from the word meaning circle in Hebrew. That's its own little debate there. So we have that the upper waters contain approximately 30. What is that? A certain measure of volume, but doesn't actually tell us what it is.
Casustus.
Thanks. Casustus more than the lower. So they have disproportionate levels of saltiness and sweetness. And another rabbi says it's half and half. But you have 2 different partitions of water, and they don't intermingle. One of them is salt water, and one of them is fresh water. In the rabbinic tradition, in Bereshit Rabbah. And Bereshit Rabbah is one of the most quoted from books of the Quran. So this very well could be coming straight from Bereshit Rabbah, or it could be coming from the Persian/Babylonian tradition, because they have something pretty similar there. But I repeat myself because the rabbis were heavily influenced by Babylon. So I nearly took my shot of that day for the Lily J thing.
So again, the Quran is claiming that one of these seas is drinkable and the other one is not, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not crazy. Like that's not what the picture
Right.
you just showed me was, correct?
No, both of those were not drinkable.
Yeah, that was the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans, correct?
Right. Yeah, both of those were
Okay.
not drinkable. Those were both salt waters.
Because I was
You would
like,
die for either of them.
yeah, exactly. You would not.
Right.
You shouldn't drink either of them. So
Mm-mm.
trying to say that that's the fulfillment of this verse is really dumb.
Yeah, so the better fulfillment is that it's literally the sky, and in the sky there is the salt ocean and the water ocean. As I brought up with
Oh,
this one,
right,
there
over
is the
here.
oceans above, and then the
Right.
barriers that separate the salts from the fresh water. So the fresh water is above, which is why whenever it rains, it's sweet water, and the groundwater is salty. The groundwater is being fed by the saltwater ocean, and the ocean in the sky is the freshwater ocean that it rains and hails from. That's why it's sweet versus salty.
Mhm, mhm.
That makes total sense to me. It's not because of the evaporation and all that, like
No.
purifies the water and removes the salt content.
The
It has
water
nothing to do with
cycle.
that.
The
Right.
water
No, water cycle
cycle
doesn't exist.
the water cycle is one of my favorite things that I learned about, in school because I think it's pretty cool how literally, like, trillions of gallons of water just, like, boop,
Yep.
boop, boop, you know what I'm saying?
And then
Like,
clean everything on the way down. Yeah.
yeah, not only that, but,
That's
like,
pretty base.
provide water for places that wouldn't get water.
um, if water cannot be made impure by anything, why is the most of the punishment of the grave for urine? That's a great question. Maybe he didn't think urine was water.
That is a I mean, he wasn't really bright on that one.
No, he was not. Plus, most of his pee would have been very, very dark yellow.
True
So
that.
I doubt you ever drink enough water to actually make it clear.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's alcohol though.
So Muhammad should have followed his own advice. Just in general, yeah. I mean, he was a bit of a hypocrite
I feel like he
all his
should.
life.
I don't know that his advice was any better.
Didn't the Sheikh admit that evaporation is a Western idea, not Islamic? I've never seen that. Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Chef says evaporation is not Islamic. Google says no. If you
Well,
can
Google
find that,
also
let me
thinks
know.
that the Quran gets the water cycle correct, so
True, yeah, it does say that, which obviously it does
it
not.
mentions the process of the waters. Yeah, like that does that's not what it says.
Oh yeah, the forming in clouds and sending down rain is not that ain't
Not
it,
in
Chief.
any way. Yeah, no,
Also, the winds don't. Anyway, yeah.
no relation.
Actually, I'm curious what it specifically is bringing up because 1522, I feel like was on the list. And we send the fertilizing winds and cause water to descend from the sky and give it to you a drink. Is not your holders of storehouse. You are not the holders of its storehouse.
Right.
It's talking
So
about like rain and all that stuff.
yeah,
Fertilizing winds.
this doesn't have anything to do with the water cycle though. So thanks Google.
Wait, let's check the other source. So 3048. Why not? It's like Sheikh GPT talk to us. Allah is he who sends the winds so that they raise clouds and spreads them along the sky as he pleases and causes them to break, and you see the rain pouring down from within them. So he causes the clouds to break. The winds raise clouds. Is that describing the water cycle of evaporation? Or is that describing clouds moving? Let's get its last source as well. A611. By the heaven that gives the returning rain. Okay, that's not.
It's very helpful. Very helpful.
Very, very helpful.
I don't know about the wind
Have
raising the clouds. I feel like they didn't. I don't. I don't know that they really knew about atmospheric stuff. So I don't know if evaporation was on his mind. But
in that logic.
well,
drinking
actually,
tea is
wait. Go back
halal.
to the verse.
So which one?
The one right before this
50
one.
Oh, what was that? 3048. Allah is he who sends the winds so that they raise clouds and spreads them along the sky as he pleases and causes them to break, and you see the rain pouring down from within them. And when he makes it fall upon those whom he wills among his slaves, indeed they rejoice. Though before that, even before it was sent down upon them, they were in despair. Part of this is because of the clouds that produce death. Because in Islam, you have death clouds of sulfur. And that's why Muhammad was so terrified most of his life, because he was scared of the clouds that were going to kill him.
Right.
Because he's obviously not a prophet.
Yeah, it seems to me like that the wind raises the clouds, like it brings them over, like
Right.
across the horizon. Because
Right.
I guess the horizon would have had a completely different meaning for Islam. Like they could have very well just said that was the end of the earth. So the wind could have literally been raising the clouds out of the earth. Oh,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. This is obviously just Muhammad's interpretation of the reality, but he was super authoritative. Even though he says that there's a mountain of hail in the sky, which, we've been in the sky a lot because of airplanes. I think airplanes are probably haram, but, we've been in the sky a lot. We haven't seen any mountains of hail up there.
True.
Or stars that close to us. We've been in space. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, you don't understand. You see, according to the great defender of Islam, Candace Owens, space is fake and gay. So there you go.
Yeah. So he is created from a gushing fluid proceeding from between the backbone and the ribs.
True.
What is this gushing fluid?
Sperm.
Sperm. Sperm is created from between the backbone and the ribs.
I knew it.
He's getting this from the Greeks.
True.
Again, copied. If it's not explicitly Galen, it's one of the other physicians, because there's a bunch of Greek physicians and their writings are becoming popular in Arabia. So we'll also see that whenever we look at the layers of the womb, and how that's obviously a problem. But I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. If you wanna
I'll hold down the
tap
fort.
about.
Yes. So, right. And such and like and I believe in world peace and such as and such and yeah. This is true. I've never gotten a tingly in my backbone from the Goral before. That's new. It's pretty new. I wish. Oh, you want to see my epic Lego set? Here, look at this. Story time. Well, it's not a story, but it is pretty epic. Like super based. I would just show you with my camera because I can move it, but everything's dirty. The old ATTE from Star Wars. As you can see, the turret gunner here, or the cannon gunner with the various and such as and
You
the
sure an
other one,
ATAT?
the ATST or the ATT indeed.
ATSD. ATT.
Yeah, the all-terrain troop. The all-terrain
Clone
troop
trooper one.
escort. Yeah, the troop escort.
Based. Pretty
Indeed.
cool. I just have like my slave one and my Anakin starfighter.
True.
Plus like my. Want to see? I'm a weeb. Hold on. Gotta
No.
prove my weebness real quick.
There you go.
There you go. There's my weebness.
True.
Nice little out the butt like a zoot. Muhammad.
Black.
The water. It's black. This is my life-size Muhammad. Creating the medieval zoot, and then afterwards, man, he did some damage.
That's
He has
how
to go
he
take a
looks
rest.
afterwards.
Yes. Anyway, so nerd. Yeah, accurate. Anyway, yeah, semen. It comes from between the backbone and the ribs, and then gushes out. And then there's two different versions of it. Yo.
Does the Quran studies in religion apparently says that 223 describes the water cycle perfectly. Let me
223.
Let me look that up real quick.
I'm pulling it up right now.
To
And if you're in doubt about what we were revealing to our slave, then produce a surah like it and call your helpers besides Allah if you are telling the truth. My man is gaslighting us.
I guess he just wanted us to read 223.
Or he did the wrong version of it. Anyway. Yeah. I like Lego. I like Lego too. I have a box that's still haven't done of the White House. I have a Coliseum that was like 10,000 pieces. The size of my desk, and it's in my room next to my bed. I'm a Spartan with my wife. Anyway. So Let's go through semen. Uh, great transition. 76.2.
Yeah, I don't think
Indeed,
that is a real thing in the Quran. Sorry.
maybe you meant 434 instead. Oh, it's funny. Okay. Indeed, we create man from a drop of thickened fluid to test him, so we make him hearing known. This sperm drop theology is also from the Talmud. So a lot of the stuff that's just wrong is also from just Talmud stuff. Part of this is like, what is that one I need to bring up because that was super, super important. It's Bukhari. Gender revealed to Muhammad. It's Sahih Bukhari.
Oh yeah, whoever finishes first.
Yeah, it's from Jibril.
We had that in our funny Quran stuff video, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Hang on, I can pull it up.
Do.
The one that got taken down because someone decided to call a certain group of people a certain animal.
I didn't call him that. The Quran did.
The Bible definitely did not.
The Bible did. All right. So Ibn Amin Ahmed recorded that Ibn Abbas said a group of Jews came to Allah's prophet and said, "Talk to us about some of the things we will ask you, which only a prophet would know." He said, "Ask me about whatever you wish. However, give your pledge to Allah similar to the pledge that Jacob took from his children, that if I tell you something you recognize as truth, you will follow me in Islam." They said, "Indeed," agreed. The prophet said, "Ask me about whatever you wish." They said, "Tell us about the four matters. What kinds of food did Israel prohibit for himself? What about the sexual discharge of woman and the man? And what role does it play in each producing male or female offspring? Tell us about the condition of the unlettered prophet during sleep. And who is his while he is supported from the angels?" This is not quite the same version I'm used to reading. This is a different version. He said, "I ask you by what sent down to the Torah to Moses, you do not know. That's not it. So do you not know that man's discharge is thick and white and women's is yellow, and that if any of these fluids becomes dominant, the female or the offspring will take its sex and resemble by Allah's leave. Hence, if a man is more than the woman's, the child will be male by Allah's leave. If the woman's discharge is more than man's, then the child will be female." So it's actually a different version what I'm used to reading. So in the version I'm used to reading, also I don't know if he said Jibril revealed it to me just now. Doesn't look like he does in this version of it. But that's one of the most important parts. So in Bukhari, in the version in Bukhari, we have that it's 3 questions instead of 4. And he asked the same question. And Jibril says, did you find it?
It was the one that I was thinking of is Bukhari 3329, where he talks about a child resembling one or the other of the parents, but I don't know if that's what you were looking for.
Yes, it's that.
Yeah.
So this is it's the same story, except it's just the Jews versus one Jew.
It's like resembling
right
one of the other parent.
Yeah. So Allah's messenger said, "Gabriel has just now told me of these answers." According to Bukhari, Gabriel was like he was telling him something invisibly in front of everyone, not audibly. But this is the mediating source of the Quran. So if this is false information, then we can objectively tell that the mediating source of the Quran can give objectively false information. So therefore, we shouldn't be able to trust the Quran if any of the information from this source is unreliable. That puts into question all information that came from this source. So we have Gabriel explicitly. This is one of the only times where Jibril appears in the text. So we have Jibril specifically tells him the answers. Abdullah said he is from amongst all the angels, the enemy of the Jews, which is incredibly stupid if you've read Daniel. Allah's messenger said, "The first portion of the hour will be the fire that brings people together from the east and the west, and the extra lobe of the fish liver. As the resemblance of the child to its parents, if a man has sexual intercourse with his wife and gets discharged first, the child will resemble the father. And if the woman gets discharged first, the child will resemble her. This is actually about gender. Because obviously, if you're resembling your father, you're a man. If you're resembling your wife or your mom, you're a female. You could take it like, oh, I just look like my mom. But either way, that still would be a false statement. It has nothing to do with who arrives first, who orgasms first. That has nothing to do with this whatsoever. So this is the mediating source of the Quran saying something objectively false. In Bukhari, if you don't trust any of the hadith, you have to trust Bukhari unless you just like throw all of them. In Bukhari, we have this. And even if you want to take this version of it, it's still false. Because this is not who arrives first, but who has more fluid. And if you're doing a good job, the women should always have more fluid. Just fun fact, like a good woman's discharge is always going to be more than a man's. Because they just have more fluid in that sac that gets emptied. It's going to be like 2 to 3 times more. So if that was the case, you would expect to have like dozens more times of women than men if men are doing a good job. Otherwise, you'd just have only men.
He didn't do a good job, Chris.
Apparently not. Yeah. Well, his only children that survived were women, if they were actually his kids.
If they were his.
Yeah. So he practiced wife swapping.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows if they were actually his kids, like if Fatima's actually related to him, which might have been why he was fine being naked around her and in her bed with her husband.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's several explanations for that one.
He's a prophet, guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
so so wife swap. Yes. Here's the thing, right? In ancient, I think I don't know if I told you this or not, Chris, but in ancient Asian culture, particularly Chinese culture, if you were going to, well, to be fair, the donkey did talk to Balaam, but I digress.
Right.
So in
because God allowed it to happen.
Right, and so
Right.
it's not a far stretch, but ants don't normally talk. No. In ancient Chinese culture, it was customary if you were going to have a friend of yours over who was a man. So like you were the husband, and if you were to have a buddy of yours over from like a long journey or something like that, you would leave the house and allow your buddy to, get down with your wife and children. So that's a thing that was acceptable at that time, which I thought was pretty weird.
It was common for rich people. You would do it so that you could basically, like if you were impotent and you were having trouble conceiving, you could still have kids. And because you had intercourse with your wife and another man had intercourse with your wife, who knows who had got her pregnant? So then, therefore, it could still be your kid.
True.
Yeah. Emmaus did coin this as the Jibril epistemic problem of the Quran. And I've presented that on the argument. I also, if you go through my post like several months ago, I made a list of a bunch of arguments against Islam, and we did a live stream on it of all the different ways you can debunk Islam. But yes, this does mean that Jibril is the enemy of Jesus. We have the angel Gabriel at home. Gabriel at home. Bukhari 5080. My brain. When I got married, Allah's messenger said to me, "What type of lady have you married?" I replied, "I have married a matron." He said, "Why didn't you have a liking for the virgins and fondling them?" Jabir also said, Allah's messenger said, "Why didn't you marry a young girl so that you might play with her and she play with you?" Word for Arab, young girl in the Arabic means child. But there's multiple stages of development. This specific word is 2 stages of development before puberty. So this is a 6-year-old to 8-year-old. So Kaib is the 9 to 11-year-old range. It's Tanner stage 2. This is Tanner stage 1. So this is pre-prepubescent children. So he's saying, why didn't you marry a prepubescent child, like a 6-year-old, so that you can fondle her and she can fondle you? That's what Muhammad enjoyed. That's why he's encouraging for his followers.
Some creep asked him why he didn't marry a child. Could you imagine just being at Popeyes on a date and just some creeps like, get a load of this guy, didn't marry a kid?
Hey, well, first off, imagine even asking, "Hey, how old is your wife?" Whenever you're like, just like, "Hey, I got married." It's like, "Oh, cool. How old was she?" Like,
Can I see her? I'd like to see her, please.
Like, the question he asked too was she a matron or was she a young girl? But he didn't use the young girl for the first instance of it. So if I go back to it, there's actually 2 different Arabic words being used here. And the important bit that Muslims like to point out is, what type of lady you married? I married a matron. Why didn't you marry a virgin? Is the actual Arabic here. This word Arab for virgin could be anyone like under the age of 20. So it is specifically a same way you could say a maiden. You would expect her to be younger. She wouldn't be in her like mid to late 20s, but she wouldn't be so young that she wouldn't be an adult. For example, the Hebrew has a similar phrase for this. We have Jaber here says that the young girl. So why didn't you marry a young girl? So instead of why didn't you marry a virgin, it's why didn't you marry a young girl? So these are 2 different words. And if you ask a Muslim about this, they will point to this word and ignore this word. That's where you have to really push them on. So it's the young girl that's the big problem there. Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, did you marry an older woman or did you marry a child? Is the question this man asked you. Like, I got married. Did you marry a woman or a child?
Yes. Allah's messenger. Yes.
You'll see.
I feel like it would be at that point that I would like run away. Get out of there. Is that what that point of the conversation would be? Oh, why didn't you marry a kid? Let me just. I'm
good, man. I'm gonna hop out real quick. So yes, this is a rich person thing. According to Mary Arb, I've done a little bit of a dive into it, but she's done a much more extensive research. The conversations that I've had with her, it does appear to be a rich person thing in general. They were not the only people that were practicing it. It was a fairly common practice in Arabia at that time. He married Aisha because he desired her. He had a wet dream about her.
When she was literally an infant.
No, she was 5.
You're right.
That's an older toddler.
I'm sorry.
Young kid. Yeah. Well, she was like 4 to 5. So,
I apologize.
Not quite a child.
I was so wrong.
He did have a wet dream about an infant, though. That's a different girl, though.
Oh, okay. I thought that I remembered something about an infant.
It's not Osama. There is one of his companions had a 9-month-old daughter, and he saw her crawling around on the floor, and he said, "If she grows up and I'm still alive, I'm going to marry her."
That's crazy. That's what I was thinking of. Sorry.
He was attracted to an infant, but he didn't actually marry or have that dream about the infant. He had it about a different child.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine asking that if your friend say, "Hey guys, I got a girlfriend." Why didn't you marry my toddler?
It's like the memes going around nowadays. That's like
that's like 3 years old.
It's like, when bro is driving past the elementary school or something like that. But this is like real life, and somebody actually said this. It's interesting, like, to think about, because we're here in the West, and we think about all these things. We're like, man, this is depraved. But then, like, I
Hmm.
have like, if we went to like Saudi, and like, how would they like? It's I guess it just wouldn't exactly be the same type of disgust there, would it?
I mean, they still practice it and enjoy it. So,
That's what I'm saying. Like, because they would read
mhm,
that and they'd be like, "Yes, valid question."
right. So this is one of the verses that I'm bringing up for the two Siemens theory. David brought it up earlier. Um, the two Siemens theory comes from the Greeks. The males have semen and females have semen. Whenever those semens mix, the semens produce the clot, and the clot develops bones and then flesh and all that stuff, which is obviously false. Which is a different thing we're getting through. Like bones formed before flesh is false. That's in Surah 23:14. So the order of embryonic development in the Quran is backwards, and it's actually so backwards. Do you know how old you are when your last bone is finally made?
Yeah, you're like, mm, wait, hang on. Well, do you mean made or like
It'll surprise
fused?
you.
Because I know your
Technically,
skull.
both.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because I know your skull doesn't completely form until you're like it doesn't actually take the
Mhm.
shape that it will for the rest of your life until you're like 8, right? Something like that.
Nope. 20s.
Oh. Oh, well, the length of your bones. Well, okay, I thought you said new bone forming.
Well, yeah, so there are bones that the platelets fuse still into your late teenage years, early 20s. You're
Okay.
still currently forming bones. There are some bones that don't fully form until you're like there. Yeah.
Peak
So
bone
like
mass.
there's different bone groups that are done in your adulthood. So you
Right.
don't have all your bones until you're fully an adult. Um, which is pretty awesome.
It's pretty neat.
So yeah, you guys are pretty, yeah, it's like it's pretty old. Bones are flesh, yeah. Bones are literally just like cartilage. So we don't
Mm.
finish all of our bones up until way later, and they're obviously formed within our flesh.
Mhm.
So the fact that it says that the bones formed and the flesh forms around it is obviously false. But here it has, and Mary, the daughter of Imran, whose body was chaste, therefore we breathed into it something of our spirit, and she put faith in the words of her Lord and his books and among the obedient. So we have his books at the time of Mary, which we obviously have that, like we have the Torah from before the time of Mary. So, you know, but the word I want to point out here is farja. This word literally means vagina.
Hmm.
So she guarded her vagina and then he breathed into it. So Allah breathed into the vagina of Mary, the daughter of Amram. That caused her to get pregnant. Why did that cause her to get pregnant? Because Allah created Mary with both semen, so then whenever he breathed into her, the semen's mixed. That was the first time she was sexually stimulated, and because of that, the semen's mixed and she became pregnant. That's the idea. Now, obviously, that's not what happened, but
Right.
insert got milk ad here. Guys, I need a new wife. Let me go.
Mm. Mm-mm. Nope. Not mm-mm.
uh, yeah.
Hilarious.
And then Muhammad did say he would marry Mary in heaven. Yes. She is one of the
E-Haven.
virgins of
Sorry.
paradise.
No, you misread it.
eHaven.com.
E-Haven. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is part of the two Siemens theory within Islam, stolen from the Greeks. Doesn't make much sense. And then we have this blowing into the lady parts business.
I it just it it makes it makes you wonder what Mary looked like in Islam, because if you have, the semen and the female semen, your hormones got to look something different, bro. Like, You got to be like on something because you making a ton of like different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What did you
Yep.
look like? Yeah, like
She would have
half.
been very furry.
Yeah, you have like half. Like
Yeah.
this armpit was hairy and this one was not, cause or like less hairy
She's
and like
jacked.
yeah, or something like that.
Um.
Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. He was very much into men. So, if you look at the way he described Moses, um,
Oh, yeah, running away from the rock or
yeah,
running after the rock.
having the
Dude,
greatest jewels of all of humanity. Yeah.
dude, dude, I don't know if you realize this or not, but the Quran supports the idea that Dwayne Johnson stole Muhammad's coat, bro.
The Rock.
Dwayne. It was
Uh,
Dwayne. We used to
Dwayne
play.
stole the coat.
Did you ever play Sea of Thieves?
No.
Okay, well, so I mean, it's a pirate game, but
Yeah, I know of it, but I've never played it.
right, and and every time we would see a rock, every
They
time we would see
stream
a rock, we would just yell Dwayne, or like when we were about to hit a rock, we would yell Dwayne.
uh
Anyways,
brain rot. Was he not a drop of fluid which gushed forth? So this is also one of the things that the gushing forth is one of the apologetics that Muslims use for the other one that says that the gushing fluid comes between the backbone and the ribs. They say that just refers to embryonic development because testicles in an embryo descend. They say it descends from the backbone and the ribs out into the pelvis, which I don't think is actually true. But that's their apologetic against the obvious error within the Quran. Say, oh no, it's advanced scientific knowledge. This is the proof of Islam. Here's another place where the fluid is literally gushing forth. So this is not the testicles, unless you think your testicles come off and enter into the woman whenever she gets pregnant to form. Um, this is obviously a verse that disproves that idea that the gushing fluid is literally, because it's the same Arabic, it's literally semen. And then he became a clot and shaped and fashioned. We made him a pair, male and female. Isn't he able to bring dead to life? Yeah, the male and the female are made in pairs and all that stuff.
you see, the Quran reminds me of Gravity Falls. You seen Gravity Falls, Chris?
Nope.
Okay, well, in Gravity Falls, man, I don't want to it's a good show, Chris. I really do want you
Yeah,
to watch it.
I almost guarantee you I will never watch it just because I don't have the time to right now. If I do, it's gonna be like years from now with my son.
Okay, and you won't remember what I say here. So
So I absolutely will, but go ahead.
it's fine. So well, I don't want to ruin it for anybody else either because it's such a good show. Never mind. I can't even say it because the thing is literally like the
Dwayne.
culmination of the show. So
Oh yeah.
never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
I know like the triangle head dude, the pyramid
Yes,
head
yeah,
guy.
it's him.
I watched a game theory on it like years ago, like a film theory on it years ago. So I know like the pyramid head dude and how they interacted and that stuff and
Yeah,
the family and
it's
whatnot.
fantastic. It's fantastic. Well, I know you have, or I'm sure most of you guys have seen it if you're anywhere close to normal, but like, I don't know. He's not as evil. So, like, I think he's more. Well, I'm sorry. I don't want to get off track.
I've seen them all. Yeah, no, my kids are not graduated much past Spider-Man and Bluey, so we're still stuck there right now.
Pretty based, but it's like a once they hit like 10,
And
get into the
Frozen. Ugh.
teens, Gravity Falls is very based.
Yep. Yes, the Quran is not really a great book and encourages lots of bad behavior. But we get in this chapter 39, and he created you from one being, then from that he made its mate. This gets into the rabbinic stuff as well. This literally means he made you from one soul, which comes from Bereshit Rabbah. I have a video on that coming out tomorrow. He has provided for you 8 kinds of cattle. He created you in the wombs of your mother's creation after creation in 3 layers of darkness. What are the 3 layers of darkness?
You had me at 8 kinds of cattle.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know.
obviously way more than 8 kinds of cattle, but he
I
only
don't
knew
know.
about four species of cattle at the time. The 3 layers of darkness is within the womb. So you have the stomach, you have the like abdomen, and you have the uterus.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the layers. Um, or if you're a Greek physician, there's 3 different layers, and they're all inside of the embryonic sac. There is the actual embryo in the embryonic sac. There are the placenta, and then there is the thing that feeds the embryonic sac with the placenta. I forgot what the actual term for it is. It's very technical. Like it's a Latin or Greek term. Either way, the Greeks had 3 different layers of darkness within their understanding of the body because they actually dissected a woman and could tell, like, oh yeah, this is the different parts of the womb. So the Greeks used it correctly. The way that the Muslims interpret it is not the way the Greeks were using it. It was way dumber. And it was talking about the outward to the inward. But if you do that, you obviously get more than 3 layers. Anyone who thinks about it for even half a second, like each layer of muscle is another layer. And then you have connective tissue throughout all of that. And it also depends on where in the belly you're pointing downward toward the womb, because there's other organs in the way. So are the organs counting? Are the bones counting? Is the cartilage counting? Is the connective tissue, the fibers counting? So many, like you can count up to like 20 to 30 layers of darkness. Or if you want to go through like each muscle fiber, you go through millions of layers of darkness until you get to the womb. Very dumb. But this
Correct.
is stolen from the Greeks. So
Yeah, where's the 8
Blue Gaze
kinds
of
of
Divas.
cattle?
Yeah, well, so the way I understand it from the tafsir is that it's 4 kinds of cattle, and it's male and female of each kind.
Right.
So it's not 8, it's 4, and then it's male and female.
But there aren't
Um,
4 kinds of cattle either, Chris.
no, there's like 30 or 40. Let's see. How many types of cattle? Not cattle dogs, just cattle.
Or
Let's
is it
see.
the definitive number?
it's, it's, let's just see how many. Uh, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. I'm not counting the beef low. So 49
Does it have
that
the Highland cattle there? I don't know if I saw the Highland cow.
Google gave.
I didn't see the Highland cow.
Yeah, it's
50.
probably more than that.
50. Yeah.
Yeah. There's over 1,000 breeds of cattle recognizable worldwide, according to Wikipedia. So why is the Quran wrong about this? And I'd be like, oh, well, all of these cattle breeds just came about after the fact.
After
They've all just
after 700 AD. Yeah, good one.
after 700 AD, all these cattle breeds came about.
It's not like
Uh,
each culture had bred cattle for their own purposes.
right. All over the planet. Yeah. So, yeah. And even if you're just talking about discrete structures, there's more than 4 types of horns on cattle to make them
Yeah.
different.
Well, there's also like
That guy's
it
pretty
doesn't really
beastly.
it doesn't dude,
Look
what
at
a
that. Look at that
specimen.
back fold. Wow.
That's pretty nice.
I don't know if he's sick or if he's supposed to look like that, but man,
He's sick, bro. Like that's a
he has his
sick
own
cow.
saddle. Like
He
that is
cool, like
crazy. You can't actually ride cows because they don't like it, but
no. They'll pull.
Agman looks like he wants to be rode, not
He's
like
ready.
Muhammad and the Men of
He's,
Azut.
he's ready for the mount.
He's ready.
But like but it doesn't really matter how you take it anyways, because all these cattle breeds came from the same ancestor, so he gave one cow. So, like, if you wanted to say that at creation there was a cow, he didn't. There wasn't 4 cows. I
Right.
don't know. I mean,
So,
maybe in
uh,
Islam, I have no idea, but like that's not.
Emmaus points out, aren't sheep and camels considered cattle for that verse? So this gets into the Arabic for like behemah. That is the Hebrew version of it. I don't remember what the Arabic word is. Let's see, 39:6. I can look it up for the internet later.
Uncle
In
Bob.
Hebrew, you have behemoths. So like animals, cattle typically is what it is. I'm imagining it's going to be pretty similar for the cattle here.
Mm.
Anami, well, that's pretty different.
Yeah, that's
Um,
the word
this,
for the second book, right?
yeah.
Or yeah, the
Well,
cow.
no, that's
No, that's
bakra. That's
Bakra. Sorry.
bakra.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Bakra. Different.
This can mean like farmland and or like farm animals in general, like livestock, but it does literally translate to cattle. Um, so I think you could
But
throw in the other types of animals, but again, there's still more than 4 types of
ex
livestock.
or even 8. There's more than 8 too.
There's more than 8 types of livestock too. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't work. It's pretty funny. I did want to bring up this the rock running away from Moses was obviously a type of Christ who
Yeah, I was
removes the
gonna say
garments of the
that.
believers, restoring his people to the innocence of the Garden of Eden by permission of Allah. But why would
Alhamdulillah.
Allah do a type of Christ? Uh
Alhamdulillah.
yeah. I don't think Muhammad could even count. That would make a good idol. Pretty much. Yeah. So we have 8 types of livestock or 8 types of cattle. Either way, it's false. No matter how you want to interpret this verse, it's obviously false with reality. Even if you want to like, oh no, everything that's unique and different came about after the fact, and Allah wasn't wrong then, but this is supposed to be His eternal speech. But also the 3 layers of darkness is false, and also being made from one being is false and rabbinic. So you have rabbinic, and you have Greek, and you have just outright false,
Okay, so apparently
all in one verse.
the most common livestock was camels in his area at his time.
Okay.
Sheep and if
Yep,
you want to do sheep and goats as 2 different categories, we can, but it's not going to help your case.
they are.
Donkeys, cattle. I mean, I know they are, but like
Yeah.
Google included them both in the same one. And then horses. It includes dogs, but we're not going to count dogs for obvious reasons.
Hmm.
So
Many religions worship cows a lot,
quite a few.
and most of the animisms will. Pretty much everyone has cows. Cows are just pretty good to herd.
I mean,
Dogs aren't cattle.
yeah, exactly. Well, they're not really like when I think of livestock, dog doesn't really come to
Um,
mind, but
right. Well, they help with the livestock, but I don't know why
they
people would
do.
do that. Yeah.
Mm,
How many types?
Horses, cattle, donkeys, sheep, goats, and camels. That's 6.
The 6 primary globally recognizable types of livestock, according to this.
Well,
And
swine is
poultry
already out.
and equines. There's no camels in this one, but
Well, no,
yeah.
but I'm assuming like that would probably be an exception for
Buffalo should be included. Camels.
yeah,
'Cause buffalo
llamas.
are they're at least in Pakistan. I think buffaloes are pretty far west. Um,
Farmed fish is considered. Well, I mean, well, I guess like livestock, I guess I understand, but like I don't think in the sense that he's using it in the Quran, it's talking about
right.
fish.
No. Yeah. No, it's cows. So I don't think you can actually, and it's also supposed to be the male and females, so it's supposed to be like
It
double
is
it.
it is supposed to be like 4 kinds with male and female for each.
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
Well,
if we bring up the tats real quick. 39.6. We're gonna do a deep dive into all this. Not play reading all this. Cattle. Oh, there it is. He sent down for you from among the cattle's 8 pairs. These are the ones that are mentioned in Surat Al-Naim, which is what we're currently reading from. 8 kinds: a pair of sheep, a pair of goats, a pair of camels, and a pair of oxen. So male and female cows, or cows, male and female cattle, male and female camels, male and female goats, and male and female sheep.
So that's
Okay. What about the donkeys?
That's the interpretation.
Yeah, it's the interpretation. This is the interpretation I've read before, which is why I knew that that's what the 8
That's
kinds
what
are
it was
supposed to be.
referring to. Yeah.
Yeah, the male and female.
Real.
Yeah. Look at Marif, like more modern. If he even comments on it. The creation of the cattle has been. He just doesn't talk about it.
He just doesn't mention it.
He just doesn't mention it.
It skips his mind, really. It's understandable. That's like have you ever watched JonTron, Chris?
Yeah.
So in one of his videos, it's like Pokemon ripoff games, and one of the games is called it's like Tenkai Daiju Telefang or something like that. And he was like, oh, I wonder what that means in Japanese. And it just means mobile phone beast Telefang. And he's like, dang it, I wanted to know what Telefang meant. And yeah, that's how I feel there. You just skipped over the important word.
Why would Allah have Jesus create like him by permission of Allah? My humor is too sophisticated for this place. It's the only explanation. Your humor is too advanced for our small brains. Yeah. Sheep, goats, camels, oxen. Yeah. But it still doesn't work. Like that's obviously not the only livestock that they had. And even if it was, that's not the only livestock that humanity had. So why is it that Allah is only mentioning the livestock that
he
the
said
Muslims have?
we sent to you.
Because he created them.
Right.
Yeah. We can all be creators if Allah just gives us the permission. Yeah. Marif just thinks it's unclear and didn't want to answer it. Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Pretty silly. But you know, that is what it is.
He created you from one being, from that he made its mate. Yeah, he has provided for you 8 kinds of cattle.
Yeah, and then the other mate stuff here is one of these. So, and we have created all things in pairs that perhaps you may reflect. This is again from Bereshit Rabbah, chapter 8, and 17:4, like 8:3 through 7, and then 17:4. Again, video coming out tomorrow on this, but it is obviously an error, as we mentioned earlier. There's thousands of genders of a mushroom. And that's why Toad and Toadette don't really make sense in Mario.
Yeah. Because number one, toads are always male, correct? Like the toad is toads are always toads are males, and
Toadette is female.
Toadette is a female, and number 2, they're mushrooms, but there aren't 2 genders of mushrooms.
No,
on both levels, it doesn't work.
Animals like camels are described as ships of the desert carrying heavy loads to lands that humans could not reach without great hardship. That is indeed true. Yes, that is Sahih. There is, in fact, camel ships. Toadette is a lie. By Big Shrew. Okay. So have they not seen the birds obedient in midair? No one holds them except Allah. Indeed, in this truly are signs for people who believe. This again is stolen from the Jews. The idea that birds only can fly because God allows them is also stolen. Let's see if I have it in my slide deck so I don't have to search it. Because the Jacob of Sarug, oh yeah, I have it here. So Jacob of Sarug, chapter 3, sentence 96. I can pull that up real quick. If not, I can just share my slide deck. But I don't know if I'll be able to quickly find that. I was talking about a bird. Seeing if Google will just tell me it. Of course it won't. That would be too easy.
Shake Google is most unhelpful at times.
I know. Oh no, I'm not gonna be able to find it in here. And I think even if I do, it's gonna be in Syriac. Yeah. So let's just I'll read it to you real quick. And then you can compare it in your head. So look at the bird when it is standing erect and relaxed and its feathers are spread out and it is standing on nothing. And it is not heavy for that nothing on which it is set, but its wing is stable and rests as if on something, and its feet and wings are spread to it, and it stands there in that empty space where it pleases like the earth for it. And when it is not leaning nor resting, hanging in the air and imagining the earth hanging on nothing, the hidden force of the divinity that is something on which all the creation hangs and with which it is held. So God specifically holds the bird up in midair. And then in a different section, the firmament became like an arch, hanging and standing without foundation, borne not by columns, but by the remez. So again, the invisible columns that are holding up the physical plate of the earth. And then do not look at the birds held poised in the midst of the air and sky. Nothing holds them up but the power of Allah. Verily, in this are signs of those who believe. So we have the, look at the birds. God is the one that's holding them up. And then in Jacob Sarug, you have birds are held up by the power of the hidden forces of divinity. So you have the power of God holding birds in midair, and they are basically resting on something solid that's invisible, not just aerodynamics and whatnot. So both Jacob of Sarug, who's a very influential Christian Syriac writer of the 5th century or so, 5th, 6th century, very influential dude, wrote very similar things to the Quran.
Real.
Except when Jesus made the bird fly. Yeah. So do birds who are disobedient fall out of the sky? These are the questions. Yeah, you would
That's
think like if the
Sorry, go ahead.
no, just go ahead.
That's why chickens don't fly anymore. They were Allah got pissed, so he made them. Yeah, he took them
It's not
out
like
the
the
sky.
hoopoe.
No.
Yeah, the hoopoe
No, he
is
was
a faithful Muslim.
amen. Yeah. Him and Solomon holding down the fort back in the day.
Yeah.
The what
So
day that is, the Quran doesn't know.
No, not at all. So Allah gives it aerodynamics, he hangs it. Look at the bird fly. You should believe in Allah. Yeah. Yeah. So again, the proof of Allah is rain, hail, thunder, camels, birds flying, ships on water, plants regrowing after they become dormant. Like after they wither, they come back to life. That's a proof of the resurrection. That's one of the proofs of Allah. I feel like I'm missing some of the proofs he gives.
Of Allah?
Oh, mountains and rivers, I think, are also proofs of Allah.
Did you say the previous scriptures?
Previous scriptures. Yep. And the mole on his back. I think that's all the proofs that you get that Allah is the one true God and that Muhammad is his messenger.
He also says he also says over and over again that he is one and that he's not a trinity.
Right.
He kind of says it like it's a proof.
Right. Well, he doesn't actually deny the Trinity. He denies tritheism.
Tritheism, yeah.
Right.
Right.
You can make a case that Allah in the Quran is actually affirming the Trinity.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny. And Muslims don't like it. But
Yeah, it's weird because they like to say that Allah is the Yahweh of the Old Testament, but the Old Testament, like Yahweh of the Old Testament, is multi-personal, and then they say, well, no, he's he's just the Father, and you're like,
Right.
okay, well, but you can't, like, that's not how it works. Like, he's not the third of three. First of all, he's the Father is the first person of the Trinity, and I think, well, I don't know how people have described it throughout the ages, but I don't know, like, so is he the
Allah
Father or
is
is he
just
Yahweh?
right. He just doesn't make any sense. Uh, Yahweh is Yahweh. The Father is Yahweh the Father. The Son is Yahweh the
Right,
Son.
yeah,
Holy
right.
Spirit is Yahweh the Holy Spirit.
It's
That's like
funny
the
because
covenantal name, but Allah just doesn't have any of those.
right, that's what I'm saying. So not only does he
Yeah.
forget his name, if it is in fact his name at all, but he also
Right.
explicitly says that he's not a father. So he's not the God of the Bible in any way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But he does line up with Satan quite often. Yeah. The Quran is the proof of Allah, unless there's much contradiction.
Yes. Because he even says, like,
Uh
if this was not from Allah, you would find in it much inconsistency. And it's like, well, in fact, we do find much inconsistency.
yeah. God of the Bibles declares the heavens show my handiwork. Now look at how hard Allah has to work to have you look at nature and all this crazy stuff to prove himself. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hang on
Yeah.
now. If you had a hoopoe fly up to you while you were worshiping the sun and he told you to worship Allah and come see Solomon and get married to him, wouldn't you? I mean,
I
come
guess
on.
so, yeah. You know,
Some
obviously.
Islamophobes we got in here.
Yeah. Oh, I did have the ships being floating as a miracle. So and it is he who has subjugated the sea to be of service. So he subjugated the sea. Didn't just like create physics and make
Yeah.
it work, but so that you eat fresh meat from there and bring forth from it ornaments which you wear, and you see the ships plowing it so that you may seek of his bounty, and that perhaps you may give thanks. So he subjugated the sea, and we go to 1766. I think it's a little bit more explicit for it to be a miracle. Your Lord is he who steers the ships on the sea for you, that you may seek his bounty. Indeed, he has always been merciful toward you.
Mm.
And then 3046 also has something similar. Bouncing around the Quran tonight. The Mental Zu- And he, among his signs, is this. Among his signs, among his proofs, among his ayat, ayatina is how the actual Arabic there. He sends his winds bearing good news to make you taste his mercy, so that the ships may sail at his command, and so that you may seek his favor, and perhaps you may be grateful. So the ships sail by his command. That is his sign. That's a proof of Allah that the ships are sailing correctly.
So, just curious, Chris, in the Quran, well, not in the Quran, in tafsir, they they in the story of Noah's Ark, they
Hmm.
claim that in some tafsir, they claim that the ark sailed to the Kaaba and performed Hajj around the Kaaba,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Hmm.
So I'm just
Seven
curious.
times specifically. They did the circle 7 times around the Kaaba.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just curious, like, is the word for sail, like, does it necessarily mean that that Noah put sails on the ark, or is it just a simple word for, like, move through the water? You know what I'm saying? Because I thought about this a lot. I was like, does he think that he put sails on the ark?
I don't know. That's really funny though.
I know, because it literally says sailed. Because, like, I'm trying to think of another word that would fit a boat moving through the water. Because, like, even with a submarine, you would say, the submarine sailed to
Hmm.
this certain place,
Hmm.
but not, even though not only does it not have sails, but it's underwater. So it's like, is there another word that he could have used, or is, like, I don't know, because it said sailed in the tafsir that you saw and I were reading.
Yeah, I feel like it would have to be. I'm trying to find something. Oh yeah. Uh, so even not in the Hadith, but also in the Quran. So, and it was revealed to Noah, none of your people will believe except to those who already have. So don't be distressed by what you're doing, and build the ark under our patience. And then some of them are mocking it, and he visits it, and then the oven bursts forth. That's again rabbinic.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
waters boiling is from the Talmud. Uh, take an ark, and then the ark is supposed to sail. Yeah. Behold, in the name of Allah, it was sail and cast anchor.
Right. So is the I mean, this is clearly suggesting it's got an anchor at least.
Yeah, it's
Because
anchorage.
what would cast anchor even really mean? Because there's plenty of words to say it would like just float. What is I don't know. I feel like that's just like
So maybe just
again
he
mooring.
caused it to stop moving. It's
Okay. I mean, yeah,
uh
I just like does that actually imply that the
oh,
ark was
literally.
built with an anchor and sails?
I don't know. Let's see. It flows like water, she sails, or it blows like wind, she runs.
Okay, I guess you
It's
could
the
say that the
feminine
ship,
singular.
yeah, made a run.
It's like moving on, like flowing on the water.
I
You
could
want to
see
be
that.
charitable?
But I
Yeah.
guess I mean, but I feel like sail is not exactly the greatest English like you could have translated it otherwise, and it would have made more sense than
Uh,
suggesting that the ark had
what
sails.
is the verb for a boat moving through water?
Cruise,
General
navigate,
trap cruise might be better, but that's all that is motorized.
immotorized, yeah, navigate.
Uh, without a sail, drifting, because it's essentially drifting. But I guess drifting might be the right one. It's, a drift is technically just
Yeah,
if
I'm
you're not
saying
controlling the
gliding.
direction, you're just adrift, coasting, gliding.
I feel
Yeah.
like coasting would probably be a good word.
Mhm. I feel like one of these did translate it as glide. The arc floated is how the Yusuf Ali is translated in it. That's interesting.
Yeah, but I don't think that
Wonder
does that include the word sail though? Hang on.
this Arabic here, yeah, right here.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I see
So
it now.
he's translated it as floated instead of sailed.
What does the Arabic word mean though? Like, does the Arabic word imply sailing?
Yeah, that's what I looked up here. So
Oh,
this
that's
is
right.
the
Yeah, we
same
looked that up.
Arabic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it flows, water blows, all that stuff.
Right.
Um, sail and cast anchor. Is it in here somewhere? Let's go just look at it. Anyway, oh yeah, that's the same root there. So Allah caused the sailing. Its course is how it's being translated there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same root. Dijri, Dijra. Anyway, so its course, it's sailing. You threw me down a tangent. That'd be really funny if it did, though.
I know. Yeah. Well, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, sail. What? Dark didn't have any sails.
Right. Mm.
No, I feel like the word sailed implies sails, personally.
I would say so too, but so is there nuance in the word sail? Yeah.
I really don't like there are other words you could use. I feel like that's just kind of a sloppy translation. It's a boat, it moved, it sailed.
Right. So Allah did make Adam 90 feet tall. Um, yeah, it sounds like bad parody is such a great way to describe Islam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Allah made Adam 30 cubits tall or 60 cubits tall. That's like 90 feet or so. He was a little over a skyscraper. He was about 17 stories tall, if I remember correctly from the math I did the other day. So he was a small skyscraper in height. And then uh Allah diminished him over his lifespan And then the future generations also diminished according to Bukhari. So we have a bunch of hadith on that. Yeah. Also, I don't feel like bringing it up right now because my throat is tired, but you have the Mary Miriam mix up. So he just got the lineage of Jesus wrong pretty badly, like really, really badly. You have Haman in Pharaoh's court. Haman is obviously a Persian name. So even if you want to say it's not the Haman of Esther, um, you still get a Persia didn't exist yet.
It didn't hit me until you said that. I was like, yeah, Haman and wait.
Yeah. No, he wasn't supposed to be there. So my throat is dying. Pharaoh using crucifixion. Crucifixion didn't exist. Muslims who tried to debate that just say, oh, it just means impaled on a pole. But that word literally means crucifixion. Now, if you want to try to argue the nuances, go for it. But that still isn't super accurate. Now, the way that they go about it is they say, oh, well, Pharaoh impaled the chief baker. And that is obviously the same thing that's happening to everyone else that was crucified. They weren't actually crucified, they were just impaled on poles. That doesn't, I don't think that actually works for the Arabic from what I understand. One that definitely doesn't work is Surah 20 with a summary. Do you remember what a summary is?
A summary is a shortened version of the story that gives precise details that were necessary for the general story, correct?
That's a simile?
A summary?
No, as summary.
Totally,
Samiri. It's Arabic.
totally misheard you.
Yeah.
No.
A summary. That's pretty funny. I didn't know what you were
I'm
trying
sorry.
to say. Oh, you threw me for a loop. Okay, so towards the end of Taha, you get the golden calf incident. But in this version, you have a different person that's responsible for the problem. So we get that he leaves, and then Aaron builds the calf, and he's like, "Why did you do this to me?" And then they said, "Oh, we did not break our promise with you of our own will, but we were laden with the burdens of the ornaments of the people. Then they threw them as for what as summary proposed." And we came out, and it was a saffron cow instead of a golden cow. So you have a saffron cow, messed up the color. We also have a summary. The summary. Who is Samurai? What is Samurai? Do you remember? Or do you know?
Was he like an ancient Japanese warrior, or is that samurai?
That would be samurai. That'd be pretty base though. No, this is either you have one of two options. One, this is a Samaritan. Or two, this is Samael. And it's a scribal error of Samael.
Well, the Samaritans weren't a thing yet.
Correct.
And neither was Samael?
Samael was, yes. He is so Samael is Satan.
Oh, sorry. Usage. I thought you meant Sam. I thought you were I thought you meant Samuel.
Samael.
Samael. Right.
Samael. Samael is
see, it can't be a scribal error because the Quran has been perfectly preserved.
Yeah, right. Obviously, it's been perfectly preserved. But if you look at Perk to Rabbi Eliezer, and this is parallel passage, because the cow lolls, the cow is producing a lolling sound.
Oh.
So the cow is mooing.
Right.
So the statue that comes out of the fire is saffron, and it moos. And because it was mooing, the Israelites thought it was actually alive, and it was God. So therefore, that's why they bowed down to it. This is in the rabbinic sources, by the way.
If I saw a cow come out of a furnace and start mooing, it would give me pause as well.
Yeah. Its root is a Syriac root. I'm assuming that's for the other thing for the sailing.
Samurai.
Oh, samurai?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Samurai is Samaritan. It could be, yes. It could be Samaritan. It could also be Samael, because we get in multiple Jewish stories that Samael was the one that tricked the Jews into doing this exact thing. And whenever Samael did it, the cow that came out of the fire was lolling, specifically lolling. Same word. So the Quran uses the same word for the same sound for this cow that As-Samari produced. That could be Samael, or it could be a Samaritan. If it's Samael, it's obviously rabbinic. And why does the Quran use two different names for Iblis? Because he already has a name for Satan. It's Iblis. So this would be Iblis doing it, or it's a Samaritan, and that's off by 800 years, or more than that.
I was
No, it's around 800
no, it's
years.
about 800 years, right? Because
The
Moses,
400, oh no,
yeah,
600
so about
BC?
yeah.
700 BC? Yeah.
Yeah.
So 800 years off, and obviously an error, or it's Satan and it's a scribal error, and they are just mistranslating his name and giving him a new name instead of Iblis.
Or they just do what Muslims normally do and
cross.
say they don't know what it is.
Right. The word
'Cause-
for cross is Syriac root, according to Slibo.
Slibo.
Interesting. Or Sliboa is the cross.
Or
Yeah, the root at the end. Interesting. How can you say that the Egypt of Pharaoh's time didn't have crucifixion if Jesus is the nephew of Moses and he was supposedly crucified? Yeah, Emmaus brings this up. I've made this argument because he made the argument, because I think it's actually kind of interesting. What if the author of the Quran just thought all of world history was only 200 years?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, so if you scrunch, like, let's say that if Moses was alive at 150 AD or BC, if Moses was alive at 150 BC, and all the events from Moses to Jesus was just 150 years, that makes sense of the Quranic timeline. Now, Moses would be super old whenever Jesus was born.
Yeah, he would have to be, and
very old.
Right, and that would mean that his mom would also, like, Miriam would have also been very old when she had him.
Right. Yeah. But there's nothing in the Quran that doesn't support that is the case.
No, for sure. And that's what because like over and over again, you're like, man, this would make sense if these people were contemporaries.
Or if just any of it made sense. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you have all the generations doing things together, and it seems very, very dumb. Also, David has chainmail. Yeah, so like there's a lot of things that are anachronisms to history from the Quran, but if all of it are happening around like 200, 300 BC or later, none of them are anachronisms anymore. Crucifixion exists, chainmail exists, the language exists that needs to be existing. Like, there's a lot of things that, like, all of a sudden all these errors in the Quran just like go away. So I think he just thought like all of it was really recent to him. And he didn't realize how much later it was from him.
Right.
Yep. Haman. Yeah, Haman also being in the court, Persia existed at that point in time. So like, again, so many of the historical inaccuracies are solved just by saying that there's a shorter timeline of the Quran, which obviously doesn't match reality, so it'd still be an error.
Right.
So we went over Gog and Magog. Moses having an army is also a pretty interesting one. So in Egypt, were the Israelites an army?
Also, Cain, the Jews would call Jesus the Messiah or the Christ as like a derogatory things at times as well. Not only that, but like Josephus called him the Christ, but only because people
Knew
recognized
him as
that.
that.
Yeah,
Right.
recognized that.
Yeah. So according to the Quran, the Jews were an army before the Exodus. So we
Mm.
inspired Moses, saying, "Take away my slaves by night, for you will be pursued." Then Pharaoh sent summoners into the cities. Indeed, these truly are just a little troop, a little army. Indeed, they are offenders against us, and indeed, we are a ready army. In this way, we took them from away from gardens and water springs and treasures and excellent dwellings. In this way, we caused the children of Israel to inherit them. And then they overtook them at sunrise. So when the two armies saw each other, those with Moses said, "Indeed, we are truly caught." He said, "No, truly, for indeed my Lord is with me. He will guide me." And we inspired Moses, saying, "Strike the sea with your staff, and it will be parted. And each will be taken like a mountain." So it uses the word army twice to describe the Jews at this point in time. You also get in another passage that I was thinking of.
Kane, I may have been lying. I don't know. There's a part of me that thought that they did call him Messiah as like a derogatory term, like, "Oh, you're the Messiah," or whatever. But maybe that was just because that's what a lot of people thought. Because again, Josephus did call him the Christ, but that's not because he thought he was the Christ.
Hmm.
So, I mean, yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, I haven't read all of Josephus. I've only read the parts that are worth quoting for different arguments. I haven't
I'm
just
like
like read
90.
cover to
Yeah,
cover
yeah,
his
yeah.
book
Josephus mentioned Jesus,
books.
referring to him as the Christ in his writings. Yeah, the Testimonium Flavianum passage.
Yeah. Was that the passage that they all debate? Like, oh, is it
Yes.
actually Jesus? No, no,
Yes.
this is just like a Christian changed it in the future.
It's that one.
Um,
Yeah.
who was it that did a rebuttal to that? Might have been Dan Wallace or Wes Huff. I don't remember which of the scholars I was listening to that was refuting that idea. It was recent though.
Mhm. Yeah, but
It was
I
a really,
mean,
really, really good rebuttal on it.
I have no doubt that they probably called him Messiah in like a mocking way because they said, if you be the son of God,
Mhm.
let you, yeah, if he truly is God's son and or if he's a prophet, oh, he's calling out to Elijah or something like that. But
Dissertation. I can spell that wrong. So there's one dude who wrote his dissertation on Josephus recently, and he
oh,
went
that
on
guy.
one of the apologetic
Yep, yep, yep,
shows.
yep, yep. I forget. Oh man, who was it?
Yeah. So
Thomas Schmidt,
Mike
right?
Lacona has him on here.
Right.
Thomas
Where
Schmidt.
did I?
Yeah.
Where did I see him at?
So this is pretty cool. If anyone wants to watch this, like he goes through all the evidence for Josephus actually, like the grammar itself matches Josephus quite well. So do you recommend this? Pretty cool. Mike Lacona also pretty cool, pretty based. Check it out. I'm sure if you know about me, you know about him. I would be surprised if you know me and not him. But if you don't know him, Mike Lacona,
Oh yeah,
check him out.
based. His work on the
Super based.
resurrection is super cool. Funnily
I didn't
enough,
see it from Inspiring Philosophy myself, but anyway.
actually, you read that wrong. It's
In 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 Pysering,
Impisering
Impsering,
philosophy.
Impsering.
And you
That's good.
an atheist that I was talking. We had an atheist that Andrew and I were talking to for a long time, and we mentioned Mike Lacona's work on the resurrection, and he said,
Mhm.
yeah, he's emotionally invested. He's too emotionally. He needs it to be true. I'm like, why don't you engage with his argument instead of like attacking him as a person?
What up? Yeah,
Dude, the
people are
JP
so
Mexican, are you in any way related to David Segarra?
Segueras. Seguera.
Are
Yeah,
you in any way related to him?
I am in my spirit, my heart of
Right.
hearts. So other things to point out for like how it contradicts the Bible, crucifixion denial, possibly. There are Muslim scholars who say that it's not denying the crucifixion. It's just denying that the Jews are claiming that they are responsible for it. Jesus speaking from a cradle is wrapping up a little bit because my throat is kind of at the end of his life cycle right now.
A good break.
Jesus making clay birds and bringing them to life. Ezra as the son of God obviously never happened. The fact that jinns exist it's not a thing. There's no such thing as a jinn. There's things as demons, which is actually what the jinns come from, is the the Babylonian version of demons. As we see that we did a 5-hour stream on.
Yeah, it's
It's a
true.
pretty good stream. You should check
We
it
did
out.
that.
Solomon's Ring, very dumb. A Barak is pretty dumb. The winged horse thing. Your Pegasus. Humans turning into animals. That's also not a thing. The animals that shall not be named. Oh yeah, Surah 1666 is interesting. So I don't know if you've read this or if it stuck out in your brain. I want to see your interpretation of this. So indeed, in cattle, there's a lesson for you. So again, cattle are now a sign of Allah. We gave you to drink of what is in their bellies from between the refuse and the blood, pure milk palatable to the drinkers.
Is this word for
What
cattle
does
the
this
same
mean?
word as the other use of cattle?
I
Because
would
if it
have
is,
to
then we have a
assume so.
definitive answer as to what cattle means.
I don't know if you could say it's still definitive, but I'm assuming it's the same. Ugh. Oh yeah, it's the same word.
It's the same word.
An enemy. Yeah.
So, milk producing livestock is what it looks like.
Yeah. Okay. What is making the milk? Where is the milk made? According
I don't
to
even
this,
know where milk is made in a real cow.
the
I mean, I know
mammary
where it
glands,
comes
the
out of.
udders.
I know where it comes out. Yeah, okay. All right.
The all mammals have mammary glands. Is what we're named after. Mammals, mammaries. Same, yeah. We produce milk because we have mammaries. We're mammals.
Mm. There's also
Biology.
like the plains of Mamre, the terebinth trees there is a good place. Where Abraham met. Anyways, so it's from between their booty and their heart, maybe.
Okay.
That's what I mean, the poop and the blood,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Pretty long
So
ways away, anywhere in here, really.
yeah, I've seen a lot of Muslims try to interpret this in different ways. One of them, they try to use like the scientific thing of like the nutrients of the poop is being extracted in the intestines, and that turns into milk, which is not quite right.
No, it's
Milk
not
comes from
right.
fat,
Well,
which does come from digestion, to be fair, but it doesn't come from the poop process. It doesn't come from the intestines.
yeah, there's no. Yes.
But this seems to indicate that milk is literally created in the location of the blood and the poop chute. So somewhere in that region, or it's created literally from refuse and blood because they have very runny poop.
True.
But also just like the idea, so like I can't think of any idea which actually would make this statement true, because obviously it's being produced in mammary glands from water and fat, and then like some micronutrients, but you don't necessarily have to get them from poop or the blood. Now the blood does carry macronutrients. That's how it gets to the glands that then help produce stuff. But that could be from anywhere in your body.
Right.
Cicada.
Yeah.
I am totally related to David Cicada, but don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the Quran is trying to say here. The perfectly clear Quran. I've read this in multiple translations. I've skimmed it in the Arabic with transliterations. No idea what it's trying to say. And every exegy I've seen of it also doesn't really make sense.
So I guess it depends. Like if between means location, or if between means like from one and from the other. So like
I have
between you and me,
no idea. Yeah, but its substance comes from it in their bellies
right.
specifically. So it also seems to indicate that poop and blood both come from the belly. Which is also not true. You know, we
And
have
they
kidneys for a
knew
reason.
that.
And yeah, like lots of things that people knew at the time, Quran still gets wrong, to be fair.
I mean, obviously, like, you know, poop coming from the intestines, you could like that's, you know, kind of the same. But like blood does not come from your belly.
Right. Yeah. So,
Right.
as a list of 40 or so things that the Quran gets wrong about reality, why does the book of Allah, why does the book of God get so many things wrong? Of different categories.
Right.
God bless all. Yes. What are your concluding thoughts?
My
So I need to go to sleep
concluding,
and also
yes, my
yeah.
concluding thoughts would be that Islamophobia is clearly, you know, a very important part of your identity. And so you have done nothing but spew that here today. And I'd just like to know that I think it's bad and wrong of you to do that. And
Yeah.
um, and yeah. No, but this is pretty crazy. I didn't realize, like, I guess I had never read where it said that the sun was in orbit, which
Yeah.
which is just not true. I mean, like, all of this stuff just isn't true, but that one's very obviously
Correct.
false.
Yeah. Two more hours. Come on. I don't think my throat can handle it today, and
I
I
don't
gotta
really want
travel
to
to
do
St.
2
Louis
more
tomorrow.
hours.
I'm gonna be in the car all day tomorrow.
Oh,
I
coming
don't
down to
wanna
the loop.
I don't wanna stay up that late before driving.
I know, I
So
really shouldn't either, but I am prepping. I'm studying for Sons of Thunder, next video that we will be coming out with on the Atonement, so I'll look out for that.
yes. I have a video coming out tomorrow on Adam, all the stuff with Adam and where it comes from, the rabbis. Um, pretty cool. Then Monday is gonna be Cain and Abel. So those are already recorded. I'm going on a slight vacation the next couple days, but yeah. Yeah. I think I'm gonna call it. Go check out Sons of Thunder Apologia. Subscribe to them. They need to get to 500 subs so they can get monetized. Um, based. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for the donations again, Jack, and studies in religion. Appreciate it. Okay. May the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you always. Goodbye.
Peace.